Hey, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening, y'all? It's me coming back at you again with another live stream vid, one of my rarest ones. So, let's get right into it. Let's talk about the story of the day is the heavyweight fight that took place last night, or yesterday afternoon here in the U.S. where I'm based at. Was between Anthony Joshua and Oleksandr Usyk for the unified heavyweight titles. Of course, if you may not known, this fight was mandated by the WBO to take place, and that's how it got made. I know there was a couple hiccups due to how long it took to get this fight done. Obviously, I believe it was more due to the fact that during the negotiation process, uh, Usyk's team demanded more money if since Team Joshua was very keen on having a rematch clause. Otherwise, if they weren't going to be paid for that, then they were going to go ahead and take it to a purse bid, which Team Joshua did not want to happen. And to be fair, you wondering why should Alexander Usyk make this at such a demand during the negotiation process? Because one is a mandatory that he doesn't have to agree to that. So if he doesn't agree to the rematch clause, so which means the deal doesn't get done, then he has a right to go to purse bid. And if his team wins the purse bid or someone bids on his behalf, then he gets to dictate the terms. And Team Joshua didn't want to risk it, and they end up paying Usyk for overpaid him for just to get the rematch clause inserted into the contract, like they did with Povetkin, like they did with Pulev, like they did with many other fighters like Joseph Parker, this, that, and the third, even though that was a unification bout, but still, it was a one-way rematch clause. And as a result, it took place yesterday, and I have to say, Oleksandr Usyk dominated, and I do mean dominated, and I say that loosely, dominated dominated Anthony Joshua in a 12-round unanimous decision. Salute to Bruce Coles. What's happening, man? What's happening? So um, where do I begin? All I can say is that at the beginning of the opening bell, the way Usyk was reacting and the way he was using his upper lateral and body movement and using all the feints and the straight lefts and using multiple combination, giving Joshua various angles, I knew from the start of that round, Usyk was going to pretty much win that fight if he didn't get robbed on the cards. I mean, Joshua was completely out of element from the beginning to the end. All right. And for anyone to suggest that Joshua did well enough to win 5 rounds or even a draw, or somebody said that he even won the fight, then you're not being really realistic. I'm sorry. I know we all have our opinions when it comes to scoring, because scoring can be very subjective, but the majority, if not the consensus, will tell you that Oleksandr Usyk definitely dominated this fight. He did. And as far as the scoring is concerned, you could tell that the couple UK judges, with the exception of the Ukrainian judge, who's pretty much got it right. The only thing I have just a bit of a contention is that where he scored it 117-112, where he gave one, he scored it even for one of the rounds with between the two fighters, which, okay, I guess that is respectable, but I can't see that. But at the end of the day, that was a proper score. So 116-112, okay, that's given Joshua the benefit of the doubt. But 115-113, come on. I know that was Howard Foster that scored that, and I was very worried about that when he was assigned to officiate, to score this fight, because we know Howard Foster is a very controversial figure in the UK boxing scene. Okay, very controversial, and they were doing, those two judges. I mean, well, I guess that 116-112 was giving Joshua benefit of the doubt, but at the same time, they were trying their best to make the fight close enough to hopefully give Joshua the win. But Usyk clearly dominated to the point that it was impossible to do so, even for Howard Foster's liking. It was just impossible. I mean, the right man got the decision at the end of the day, but to me, it was not too shocking, but it was shocking to see that somebody even scored that 7-5. I mean, that was not it was not a 2-point fight. There was just no way that was not a 2-round fight. That was a clear domination. Clear domination by Oleksandr Usyk, a guy coming up from cruiserweight and beating a heavyweight. I mean, look, let's not be surprised about that, okay? I mean, this has been happening for a long, 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 long time now. Even before the cruiserweight division came into its exception back in the late 70s, okay? You had middleweights, welterweights go up to heavyweight and beat heavyweight guys, okay? Ezra Charles, my favorite fighter of all time, the Cincinnati Cobra, who doesn't get much credit for the work that he did over the years, okay? This guy was a middleweight, went up to heavyweight and beat Joe Louis. Yeah, you argue that Joe Louis was out of his prime. I get that, but Joe Louis was the favorite to win that fight, okay? Ezra Charles was a very small, you could tell there's a size difference between the two when they first fought. And Charles schooled Lewis, made him look silly. All right. He was supposed to win that fight. But I'm just saying, the point is, this is going on long before, the cruiserweights came into inception in the late 70s. Okay. So it's no surprise that you have these smaller guys go up to heavyweight and do what they do. I mean, have anybody forget about Evander Holyfield? I mean, seriously. And to be fair, though, look, I know people were basing their assessment on, on the Usyk and Joshua situation, the matchup, as if, okay, Usyk's work at heavyweight has not been impressive. He struggled against a guy who hasn't fought in 5 years, like a Ches Witherspoon. He struggled against Derek Chisora. So how does he go fare against Wilder, Fury, or Joshua? Okay, look, I admit that I was part of that consensus at that time too. But at the end of the day, you do have to step back and say, you know what, after, rethinking the whole process, styles make fights. Okay. Derek Chisora has a totally different style of fighting than Anthony Joshua. Okay. Anthony Joshua is not a guy who's going to sit there. He's not a pressure fighter. He's not that type of fighter. He's a guy that's going to try to impose his will when he needs to. He's a guy who looked to counter you a lot. And then he's a guy who's trying to keep his distance and fight you at range, at mid-range particularly. That's what he does. He's not the guy who's going to oppose his will. He's not the guy who's going to come forward and take a shot and give one back. That's not how he fights. Okay. And another thing too is that people are wondering, why didn't he pose his size? Why didn't he pose his power? Why didn't he do this? Why didn't he do that? Why didn't he fight like Canelo fight? Look, I mean, I know this is a shout out to Edge. We were talking about this on EJ's chat yesterday, or live stream, I should say. The difference is that AJ doesn't have that tight guard defense as Canelo Alvarez. Once again, he doesn't move his head. He's too upright. He's far too stiff, robotic, and Usyk exploit that. It just seems to me at this point, you can't change that out of a fighter. That's just his natural attributes. He just can't. Those are his flaws that he can't correct. It's just the way it is, man. And another thing too is that when Joshua did try to impose his will, when he tried to let his hands go, he was getting countered like 3 unanswered punches at a time by Usyk. He just didn't know what to do. He was bothered by the movement. He was bothered by the angles. He had no answer for those lefts out. Usyk was landing on him at will throughout the fight. He just couldn't figure the guy out. And there was sometimes when they had some clinches and exchanges, it seemed like Usyk was the stronger man between the two. It seemed like he was a stronger man up in the clinches and the inside. And, let's not forget, too, Oleksandr Usyk is a very good inside fighter. That's the one thing people don't give him much credit for. He's a very good inside fighter. And the reason why people probably don't give him too much credit for that is because we never really see him in that type of fight. But when he does have to fight in the inside, he will do it. He is very good in the close quarters and exchanges. Very good. And we saw that at the end of the 12th round, what he did to Joshua when he fought him in close quarters. All right. So Bruce Cole says that 6'3" and 220 is not really a small man. I mean, no, he's not. It's not. But, from a physical standpoint, Oleksandr Usyk is he's a natural cruiserweight. He's not a natural heavyweight. But he pretty much proved everyone wrong. He pretty much put that to bed. Just because a guy come up a weight, it's not always about power. It's about skill for the most part. Is what you can do with that power is you have to apply skill to that power. Okay. Anybody can have power at heavyweight, but if you don't have enough skill to apply that power, then you're not going to win the fight. And Oleksandr Usyk proved that point. Shout out to Blood and shout out to the Texan and Chad Terrence. Let me just go down. Boz. So what's up, man? AJ got that work. Yeah, he surely did, man. I mean, he clearly lost. I mean, just Look, if you want to stretch and give him 4 rounds, so be it, but no more than that. No more than that. And if you think this was a draw, come on, man. You're not being realistic. You're not. So let me see here. I'm gonna go through the comments real quickly. Intangible, what's happening? Tyrese says that AJ needs a new trainer. I mean, he needs an American trainer. I mean, that was brought up. Maybe Ronnie Shields. If he is gonna go for American trainer, Ronnie Shields will definitely suffice. Buddy McGirt maybe, because Buddy McGirt could definitely probably make some adjustments with him, whatnot. But let's be realistic. I know the chatter's been going around about Robert McCracken, that he needs to get rid of Robert McCracken. I totally agree. I think he needs to get rid of McCracken, but realistically, that's not going to happen. I just don't see it. If he does get rid of McCracken, I'll probably be somewhat surprised, because at the end of the day, let's not forget here, AJ just signed a lifetime contract with Matchroom, which is very unprecedented in the landscape of boxing. It's to some regard. What I mean by that is that it's a rarity to see a fighter be loyal to a one promoter or a manager or a trainer. I mean, it's extremely loyal. I mean, it's extremely rare. The thing is that McCracken's been with him since his amateur days. So, and he trusts the guy. They got this far, they got the stage together. So, he, I guess he just feels that he has to have that sense of loyalty. That's why he signed that lifetime deal with Matchroom. So that's an indication to me that he's not going to get rid of McCracken. I don't see it, but if he does, then it is a very wise and smart decision to do so, because at this point of his career, he needs to make some adjustments, man. I know we talk about Deontay Wilder needs to make some adjustments, and he's doing that now. He got a new trainer. He's still getting criticized for that, but we'll have to wait and see if those new attributes that he's acquired would translate into the third Fury fight coming up in 2 weeks. Tangible says that, yeah, Usyk is the baddest man on the planet. You know what? If you're gonna say that based on the pound for pound status, I can't really argue that, because if anybody has Usyk number one pound for pound, I can't argue that. He has every argument to be pound for pound number one. I know the Canelo Alvarez fans will beg to differ on that, but to be fair, if you look at Usyk's victories versus Canelo's victories, yes, Canelo, I believe most of his toughest fights, he's won them, he's nicked them, but they do come with controversy when it comes to scoring. Usyk has literally dominated every opponent he's fought, with the exception of Breedis, maybe Jerick Chisora. But other than those two fights, he's clearly dominated them. He's clearly outclassed and made guys look horribly bad. So it'd be interesting to see what AJ. I mean, I know they're talking about the rematch, but I was listening to other guys' opinion on that. Many would agree that it'd probably be wise he shouldn't even take that rematch. It should be wise, because this is not an Andy Ruiz situation where, okay, in the first Andy Ruiz fight, he got caught with one good shot based off a mistake that he made. Okay, fair enough. But to be fair, though, Andy Ruiz, and before that knockdown in that first fight in the third round, Andy Ruiz was having some big success with winning the exchanges in the inside. I mean, to be fair, Joshua was actually doing good. He was on his way to actually win the fight, because he was actually performing good. He was actually landing his shots. But anyhow, besides the point, Andy Ruiz is the type of fighter who's not always known to be a very disciplinary fighter. He's not known to be very motivated at every fight that he goes into. As far as Usyk's concerned, this is a guy who's been an amateur for 10 years. He's had over 400 amateur fights. He's used to fighting taller men, a la Joe Joyce in the World Series of Boxing. Take a look at that fight. All right. He sparred with many great fighters like the Klitschko's over the years. This man has got vast experience, cleaned out the cruiserweight division, became undisputed, beat a lot of top names. So this is just, it should be no shock to everybody that Usyk did what he was able to do. There is the story that went out, and I told everybody about this, is that don't be surprised if he beat AJ, because look what he did to Klitschko in sparring. He humiliated him. Vladimir, that is. He embarrassed him in sparring. I know sparring is one thing, but when a guy's been around for so many years and he's used to fighting bigger men like Joe Joyce's of the world, come on, man. This is not should be surprising. The Texas says, "What up, Dan? Cruiserweights are moving up a lot more dangerous than I expected in these heavyweights these days. The skill gap is way too wide yesterday. Doubt AJ can just in the rematch." Yeah, I mean, if you count Michael Hunter, yeah, you can't sleep on Michael Hunter. I know that people are upset he didn't take the Herkovich fight. I think he would have beaten Herkovich, but Michael Hunter is another guy you can't sleep on. You can't sleep on him either. Those two, Hunter and Usyk, man, I if I'm like those other heavyweights, man, I keep an eye on them. Especially Usyk, obviously, but Michael Hunter, definitely don't take your eye off him. I'm just being honest. Blood, always a pleasure, man, to have you on. Bruce goes. Hey, Bruce, Texan. Let me see. Bruce Goes says, "Look, I admit I called that wrong. I had no faith in Usyk." Yeah, you know what? It's nothing. It's nothing wrong being wrong, man. Look, we all get predictions wrong. I get predictions wrong, and let's not get it twisted. I did favor AJ to win the fight, based off the size and based off his size and his other attributes. But I didn't think he was going to knock out Usyk. I thought he was going to win it on points. Some maybe thought it'd been controversial based off the Campbell Hatton fight that took place on the undercard. I'll probably get to that later, but other than that, yeah, look, there's no shame of getting a prediction wrong. Okay. Speaking of that, even if you get a prediction wrong, just don't do what you can to salvage the situation. Just say, you know what, I got it wrong. I got it wrong. Usyk was definitely the better man that night. Definitely a better fighter. So, yeah. Let's see. Plus, Blood says that plus Usyk is probably going to be better in with adding the natural weight. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing though. Usyk is a very disciplinary fighter. This is why the rematch worries me. And it should worry other people too. Usyk is not a type of guy who's going to be complicit like Andy Ruiz. All right, so this is a totally different situation. In fact, Andy Ruiz doesn't have the attributes of Oleksandr Usyk. Even though I did say AJ shouldn't take that fight because I thought Ruiz will still be motivated and be in better condition like he was in the first Joshua fight, but I was also proven wrong. But but again, Ruiz doesn't have that type of upper ladder movement. He doesn't have fast feet. Yes, he has fast hands. He is very durable, but other than that, he doesn't have that great defense. He doesn't have the movement. He doesn't have the foot speed. So if you're Joshua, you look at that and say, yeah, you know what? I know I cannot stand in front of the guy. I'm not going to win a punching exchange with this guy. But as long as I can keep it from long range, jab and move, boxing move, pot shot here and there, I could win the fight. So yeah, that's what he did with Ruiz. He jabbed and moved. He didn't stand in front of him. You know what I mean? He kept it a long distance throughout the night, and Andy Ruiz couldn't keep up because obviously he came in grossly overweighted, didn't train for the fight, which he openly admitted. So yeah, but in this case, well, Oleksandr Usyk, no, Usyk is always ready. He's always prepared. He's always in shape, always training. So this right here, this is I don't think me personally, I don't think Joshua should take the rematch. And this is me being consistent. I said this about Wilder when he lost to Fury the second fight early last year. I thought that would not be wise to do it, but at the same time, you do have the rematch clause. You have every legal right to pursue it and invoke it. So go ahead and do it. But in this case, I don't know, man. I don't like AJ's chances in that rematch. I really don't know what he can do to to win that fight. The only thing he can hopefully do is that if he could catch Oleksandr Usyk off guard. What I mean by that is me transitioning to the Fury Wilder situation is that if somehow, some way Oleksandr Usyk comes out to be complicit, not be disciplinary in some form, then he can win the fight. Because Tyson Fury is not a disciplined fighter either. And let me just talk about Fury and Wilder 3 real quickly. Now, Tyson Fury, in his latest interviews, he's speaking as if he knows he's going to lose the Wilder fight. He doesn't look like he's in good shape. He doesn't look motivated. I mean, that fight to me, man, I don't expect a knockout, but if it goes to the point of it's nip and tuck, Wilder's going to get the decision. Fury probably, like I said, he could be proven us wrong because we know he likes to lie a lot, but he does not look ready at all. And the fight's 2 weeks away. He doesn't look ready. But again, transitioning back to AJ and Usyk is not Tyson Fury. He's a very disciplinary guy. He's always in shape. So I just don't see how Joshua can win that fight, man. I really don't. I really don't see it. I mean, there's no, I mean, what else can he do? He can't outbox a guy from long range. He cannot beat him in close quarters. He can't beat him in mid range. I mean, what can he do? What can he do? Yeah, I know some people, and another thing too, people were arguing he should have targeted the body a bit more. Yeah, that'd have been ideal. But the problem is that whenever he did it, he was getting countered to death. He was getting countered all over the place. So that didn't work. So what else do you do? Oh, hold on, guys. I'll be right back. Stay tight. All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to leave briefly. Let's see here. What's up, Ahmed? Yeah, I might I'll go ahead and send you guys a link so I can get you guys in the chat. Yeah, let me do that right now. Yeah, let me go ahead and do that. Give me 1 second. So yeah, back to what I was saying, dude. I just don't see what can Joshua do. I don't know, man. I really don't. The Texas says that AJ, I was expecting AJ to keep it a neutral, boring fight, almost like that, putting his entire size on Usyk. AJ is scared from those Ruiz fight. Well, that's the thing. He doesn't have the durability. He knows it. At least with Vladimir Klitschko, he had some form of durability, but I'm not saying it was the best, but it was definitely he had better durability than AJ. I mean, some people beg to differ because AJ knocked him out, but still, though, I just think that he's just the Ruiz fight, he hasn't quite gotten over that. I mean, he's gotten hurt before that. Let's be real. It's just that he's just chinny, man. And let's face it, he doesn't have the durability. I'm not saying he has his punch resistance is that bad as a heavyweight. I mean, I can go all the way back to Floyd Patterson and Seth Mitchell, but still, he doesn't have the durability. Sorry. He knows that himself. And another thing I want to address too, people are arguing that he needs to put on more weight so that way he could be the bully against Usyk. Easier said than done. Even if he puts on more weight, he's going to compromise his gas tank and his endurance like he did before. That's the reason why he shed his weight to 240s. It looked like he was 238 with all the clothes on. I mean, he looked like he could have been 230 without the 235 or 236 without the clothes. But still, though, even if he puts on that 250 muscle mass, he was going to get knocked out in that fight against Usyk. If he thinks he could do that, if you think he could do that in a rematch, it's going to be a much terrible fight for him. Terrible night. I'm just being honest. I think that's not a good idea to put on weight against a guy like Usyk. I don't think he should do that. Bruce Scholes says that with that Hatton ending, I wasn't sure about the winner until the decision was announced. Yeah, I know the Hatton fight. What can I say about Campbell Hatton? He's not good. I'm sorry to say that. I know the reason why he's in the position he's in because of nepotism. We all know who his father is. But see, nepotism at this point, it can only take you so far. I mean, let's be fair. Conor Benn, the Chris Eubank Juniors, I mean, they've all made something out of themselves with their father's name to an extent. I mean, Conor Benn is still on his way up. Chris Eubank, I know he's had a shaky career, but he's still good enough to fight on world level. Camel he just doesn't have it. I think what they need to do is they need to repackage him and they need to put him in, in lower level events so that way he can get his confidence up. I mean, it's just a bad idea to put him in big stages right now. He just doesn't have it, man. He's just not ready for it. He needs more time to to progress. So, yeah, and judges, I mean, that's why I don't favor referees being judges in 6-round fights. I really don't. I don't like that at all. I know that's a UK rule because it's 6 round fights. They don't think they could appropriate the budget for judges, but still, at that point, when you see a situation like that, I think the British Board of Boxing Control is going to have to revisit that and say, you know what, maybe we need to at least assign 2 judges, maybe 1 judges for budgetary reasons, so that way it doesn't look like the referee is being too biased. I mean, to be fair, judges are biased as well, but at least you have different set of eyes to make up the decision rather than just having one person make a decision to fight. That, I mean, they need to revisit that. My view. What's up, Dan? Leah, let me send you the link, man. Give me a minute. Where am I? There we go. There we go. Let me see if I can get other people on, which I should. Let's see. Abal says at this point, I don't know what he should do. I mean, there's too many people making money off AJ. He's not going to change nothing. Nothing's going to change. Yeah, there's another thing I gotta add to that. Here's the thing. We all talk about Wilder and Fury having yes men in their corner. Based off what I saw in that corner yesterday with AJ, when they're saying what he was doing was brilliant in the fight, I'm like, what do you mean what he's doing brilliant in the corner? I mean, what you guys are watching do was getting tagged. What are you saying what he's doing was brilliant? He wasn't doing anything brilliant. He was getting tagged all over the place. And you call that brilliant? Now, to me, that's a sign of yes men. And there's some people in that camp that are afraid to tell Joshua what he's doing wrong. Look, we all, as a fighter in the position that he's in, it's the same thing with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. You don't like to be told what to do. Because in their mind, they're like, well, why do I got to listen to you? I'm in the position I am because I'm not taking your advice. I'm going to keep doing what I want to do. But at the same time, be honest with the guy. Where was the urgency from Robert McCracken, for God's sakes? Somebody should have told him, look, man, you're down. You're losing the fight. You got to knock this guy out to win. You have to. There was just no urgency at all. And that was just totally disgraceful, man, from that corner. He needs to change that corner. I mean, again, I don't see that happening because he believes in loyalty so much, but he got to make some changes, man. That's the only way he has a shot at winning the rematch against Usyk. Even though if he makes changes, I don't see him winning it. But you got to do something. Got to do something. Hamed says that, yeah, Hatman was right. You can't be sentimental or loyal in boxing if you want to go to the next level. Exactly. You can't do it. You got to make changes if you want to exceed to the next level. You have to. But to me, I could be wrong, but it seems like it's too late for Joshua to get to that level at this point. I mean, look, he's an elite fighter. Let's not get it twisted. But if he wants to have a lengthy title reign, like like people expect him to have it, like comparing it to Lennox Lewis's reign, because that's what this is all about, trying to get him, up to that stature of Lennox Lewis. But at this point, what the team that he has right now, he's not going to get there. He's not going to get there at this point. I mean, he's already got 2 losses on his record. I know it's a short career. He's taken a lot of damage already. So I don't know, man. I mean, to be fair, heavyweights do have a lot of miles on their clock, more so than the lower weights. But we'll have to wait and see. Ahmed says that, yeah, some people had it a draw or Joshua winning. Oh, yeah, I saw that. I seen that. Oh, Jesus Christ. Look, let me just say this, man. I understand Joshua is your guy and you're trying your best to give him the benefit of the doubt, but you have to be realistic and you have to have a rational brain. The man lost a fight. He got dominated. Let it go. He got dominated. Don't sit there and try to find rounds for him to give to him and make it seem like he won the fight. No, he didn't. He got beat up badly. I mean, especially in the 12th round where he nearly got stopped. He went to his corner, sat on the stool. He seemed in pain, probably more so than probably more so due to fatigue. He was in pain. He didn't give up his stool for a long time after the fight after the fight ended. And it's another thing. Speaking of that, I don't know. I mean, did they sound off the bell like 5 seconds earlier before the round ended because they didn't want to see Joshua get knocked out or stopped? I don't know, man. Yeah, it looked bad, man. Plus, he got that eye socket injury too. I mean, now he's got to get that looked at. Hope it's not a broken bone, man. But that looked pretty bad. Because if it is if it's a broken orbital bone, man, then that's not a good sign. And Joshua definitely is going to be out for a very long time if it comes down to that. So let's just hope and pray it's not a serious injury. So we'll see. Abu says that I got Usyk pound for pound number one, but anyone has Canelo, don't mind. Yeah, at this point it is it's neck to neck with these two. But it all depends on the outcome of Canelo Alvarez's fight against Caleb Plant, which he's expected to win. So here's the way I look at it: if you have Usyk number one pound for pound right now, then yeah, that's a fair argument. If you have Canelo number two because of the fact of what Usyk did, yeah. But if Canelo beats Caleb Plant, then you can put him back at number one. So yeah, I mean it's going to be between Usyk and Canelo at this point, who's pound for pound number one. So yeah, you will see. Uh, Hamed says only Breedis' fight was close in my opinion. But Chisora was competitive, but not as close. Yeah, that's what I said though. That's what I said though. Good point there because only two competitive fights I could think Usyk was both the Maris Breedis and Derek Chisora fights. Oh yeah, Michael Hunter too. Yeah, that's a good point. I forgot to mention Michael Hunter. Michael Hunter gave Usyk fits in early rounds, and then he figured out he adjusted, figured out Hunter and dominated him during the last end of the fight. So yeah, what up, DGO? I'm good, man. I'm good. Let's see here. What's up, Haplotype? Uh, Joshua got schooled. That wasn't even a close fight. I tried telling people that I picked Usyk, but I thought they would make it a draw to or to rob him. But if it was close, yeah, I mean that's the whole point. If it was a nip and tuck fight where Usyk may have won the round by 2 or 3 punches, then yeah, they would have found a way to give Joshua the win. They would have, even though that would not have been right, but that would have been the case. But in this situation, no, it wasn't even that close. I mean, there was 3 rounds. It was round 3, round 7, and round 12, obviously, where Usyk had Joshua battered, hurt in those 3 rounds. So when you see something like that happen while he's out boxing the guy in the rest of the rounds, for the most part, it's hard to rob him. It's very difficult to do that. Very difficult. Yeah, let me post a link in the chat. Anybody wants to jump on. So let's see. MG is here. Hello, Dan. Watching the fight, I was wondering why Joshua didn't attack Usyk's body. I was getting frustrated with boxers nowadays not knowing how to attack the body. Well, MG, here's the thing though. I think there was some moments in that fight where Joshua did attack the body, but when he attacked the body, he was getting countered with 3 or 4 unanswered punches, and that's why he was very hesitant to go downstairs because he was getting countered. So when you have a guy like Usyk who's very good at counter punching and then gives you angles and he can mix it up in the inside, it makes you hesitant. And he's constantly moving around. He's giving you, you just don't know what to do with this guy. You hit him in the body. He's not stationary. He's coming back with 4 or 5 unanswered punches. What else do you do? And he's not hurting the guy. So, yeah, I guess to your point, though, it would work if Joshua is a guy, it's a type of fighter who's going to say, you know what? I got to attack this guy and slow him down. If I get hit, so be it. I got to give it back. But he's not that type of fighter. He doesn't have the durability to do it. That's the problem. He doesn't have the durability. Percy Bedford. What's up, Percy? He said, what up, Dan? Hope all is well. Joshua has to take the rematch. Yeah, I mean, look, he is inclined to do it. He has a right to do it, just like Wilder has a right to do it. But this is different from Wilder and Fury situation because at least with Tyson Fury is a very undisciplinary guy. You don't know what to expect from him. But Oleksandr Usyk, totally different fighter, man. I just don't think Joshua's gonna have the tools to win it. I just don't see it, man. I mean, unless Usyk becomes complicit and somehow, some way, Joshua decides to change up his style and say, you know what, I can't afraid to get hit. If I get hit, I gotta find a way to to give it back. But again, he just doesn't have the durability, and the ghost of Andrew Ruiz is still lingering behind his, in the back of his mind. So I don't know. The Fight Doctor, shout out to Fight Doctor in chat. He said Joshua needs to retire. I wouldn't go far to say that. Let's see. We got Battle Rifle. What's happening? And we got a new coming here, Boxing Learner. So what's going on, fellas?
Man.
What up, Dan?
What up? Good. Boxing Learner. Where were you from, man?
Well, I watch boxing. I just watch boxing. I like YouTube boxing. I like to go into channels and seeing what people have to say about fights.
All right, fair enough. So yeah, let me start with I mean, since you're a newcomer, let me go ahead and give you the first on this one. So what do you think about the Joshua Usyk fight? I know I mean you commented that he should activate the rematch. Do you see Joshua doing anything different?
I think I didn't say he should. I think he activated. I think he
Oh,
should. I think he should leave it alone, and he should
right.
let Usyk fight the winner of Wilder and Fury. The fight's 2 weeks away. I think he. In fact, I think Usyk should be there.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, let's just say if he does take the rematch, do you see Joshua making any adjustments and winning that fight?
It's hard to say. I don't know exactly. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so. I think Usyk is, I think he his IQ. You know, yes, Joshua throws a lot of jabs, but they're very basic jabs. They don't
Right,
have any nuance to them. You
right.
know that's
Well, yeah, I mean that's a good point. Like I said though, I think Joshua was trying to throw his power shots, but whenever he was throwing his shots, he was trying to give one back. He was getting countered with 3 or 4 unanswered punches by Usyk, and then
yes,
Usyk is moving to a different angle that Joshua can't catch him. He's
man.
like,
He was
go ahead.
he was constantly moving. I was like, damn, does this guy's got crazy cardio. He's constantly herking and jerking and bobbing and weaving, feinting.
Right.
Oh man, this I don't. He completely hooked this guy off because he tried to box with a master boxer, and you know, that can work against a Ruiz that's unmotivated,
Yeah.
but against a master boxer like Usyk, he wasn't gonna outbox him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. You're not going to outbox Alexander Usyk. That was another thing that kind of came that I was kind of a bit concerned about because if this is going to be a boxing match, Usyk all the way. No way Joshua's going to win that in a boxing match against him. The only way he can win that fight if he applies his pressure, applies his his size and strength against him. But Joshua's just not that type of fighter. He doesn't have the durability to do it. He
Yeah,
doesn't
and
have it.
Joshua's best punch was the right hook. I'm like, okay, I thought he was
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
some.
it did stung Usyk a little bit, but we see here's another thing we do not give Usyk enough credit for. He can take a punch.
Yeah.
That man can take a punch. He's been hit by big punches for years. I mean, Joe Joyce hit him with some I guess they weren't like clean shots, but Joe Joyce hits hard. And I'm not sure if you saw that fight when they fought in the WSB 8 years ago. Or I know that was amateurs, but that's semi-pro. You know what I mean? Because they were fighting on pro level, pro fight conditions, in the WSB. I mean, he embarrassed, I mean, I'm saying embarrassed, but Joe Joyce did a little bit better, but he kind of embarrassed Joe Joyce for the most part of that fight. So,
Mhm.
Usyk is used to that. He's had over 400 amateur fights, Olympic gold medalist. He's cleaned out the cruiserweight division, undisputed champion. Come on, nobody should be surprised with what he was able to do. Spar with the Klitschko's for years, spar with prime heavyweights for years. I mean, this guy, he's used to it. It's just nothing to him, you know?
He almost stopped Joshua in the last round. He,
Right.
I'm like,
Yeah.
damn. And he
Yeah,
really,
that was a punctuating end of the fight. That's the point where you say, you know what, as a judge, you can't rob him.
yeah,
You-
you can't because he fought like a champion. While Joshua, he was kind of just throwing the jab, like, and it was just missing and missing. I'm like, come on, gotta get
yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
then dude just howled it on. I'm like, you man, this dude is a real champion.
Right. Hey, let me get Battle Rifle in here, man. Hey, what's up, Battle? Long time no here. Battle.
Long time. Yeah, give me like a minute. I'm just about to close this trunk real quick, and I'll be right back on it.
All right, no problem, man. Let me just go ahead and get to the comment. Hey, Gerard Smith just said that is it fair to say that AJ's a Ben Simmons of boxing? That's kind of harsh. um, well, how do I put it this way? If you want to make the comparison, Ben Simmons definitely have the talent. He definitely has the skills to be a great player, but he just probably doesn't have, from a psychological perspective, he doesn't. I guess he doesn't have the ability to make conscious decisions on his own because he's always second guessing himself. So I
Mm,
guess if that's probably the comparison you can make with Anthony Joshua, because Anthony Joshua like to second guess himself a lot in fights.
yeah.
I guess because the reason why he second guesses himself because he knows what his vulnerabilities are. He's probably thinking, "Damn, if I try to take a risk, I'm gonna get clipped, and I can't take a punch very well." He knows it.
Or is it like some type of mental block thing? Like,
Yeah, it could be that too, especially from the Ruiz loss. He still hasn't gotten over that. Let's be
Yeah,
real.
I know. I
He
know.
still hasn't gotten over that. And that's why some people had kind of said, you know what? It would be a mistake for him to go into that reason rematch. Because look, even if he wins it, which he did, he's got to go back and fight on world elite level again. You're not going to learn that way. Some people suggested, you know what? Forget the Ruiz rematch. Go ahead and take some tune-up fights, so that way you can learn the mistakes that you made. Then you can go back at it. But to be fair, I know there was a lot of pressure on him to go ahead and take the rematch, and he did win. But then again, the more pressure comes back where you got to fight on world level again, elite
Yeah,
level.
and
So, we got to give Joshua credit. He's a type of fighter who doesn't back down from a challenge. He'll take on all comers. But
I heard Eddie Hearn didn't really want this fight because after the fight, he was talking about how they should have swerved him.
oh yeah, because they were they were trying their best to get the Fury fight. They really wanted that fight. I mean, to be fair, I'm not sure if he could have beaten Fury, but they really wanted that fight. But since that fight fell through, Hearn didn't really want that fight because he know what Usyk can do. He saw what he did to Tony Bellew, one of his guys. you know, so he did. They didn't really want this fight. So I mean, Joshua is a fighting man. So you know what? I got a reputation that I need to, to uphold here. I got to take the fight. I'll take my
Yep.
chances. And that's what a fighter do. You have to take chances. If you have some bit of self doubt, you still got to take chances because at the end of the day, you do have to have will and you have to have the way to win the fight. And Joshua has come through time and time again. But again, he's up against a different beast, man. And this is
Mm-hmm.
Oleksandr Usyk. You can't do that. What's this? I hope this is not what's this comment? Yeah, get the fuck out of here, bruh. Get out of here. This dude, you getting blocked for this comment. One thing I don't tolerate,
Wow.
yeah, is bullshit comments like that. Get the
Yeah,
fuck out.
their mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you was reading a comment that said something like I had AJ winning like 10-2 or something.
Nah,
Actually,
some dude came in here with the white power comment. White power is great because hey, what's up, Olive? Yeah, no racist comments here, bro. You getting blocked for that. I rarely block people, but yeah, no place for that.
mhm.
All right. So anyhow, let's see. Gerard says yes, this is that killer mentality. He just doesn't have it. Uh I wouldn't say Joshua doesn't have the killer mentality. He does have. I guess it's just that well, he's a. Let's just say it, man. I'm trying not to say it, but I gotta say it. He's just afraid to apply the will because of what happened to him in previous fights, particularly with the Andy Ruiz fight. He's afraid to do it now. He
Yeah.
knows his vulnerabilities. He's just afraid to do it. So, I
And
mean,
they think he's too nice. They think he's way too nice for
yeah, I
the.
mean, look, Joshua addressed that, and I can understand why he's that way. He said, "Look, if you don't disrespect me, then how should I disrespect my opponent? How could I do that?"
Well, you
Uh,
don't have to be that nice. You don't have to let your opponent hold the belts before the fight, and you
right.
could be taking selfies with him like that. I'm like, that's not cool. You don't do that.
Yeah, you know what? To your point, though, yeah, because you could have probably used the Andre Ward mentality because I remember when Andre Ward and Sergey Kovalev when they first announced they were going to fight each other in the first press conference. They had their, whatever their first media day. Um, And at the meeting, Kovalev was trying to be respectful and nice to Ward, and he went over there to try to shake his hand. Ward wasn't having it. He's like, I ain't shaking your hand. Nah, bro. This, Ward let him know we could be cool, but we're fighting each other. This is time where we got to put that aside. And Kovalev didn't like that. So maybe Joshua should have that type of mentality. We could be cool in other times, but we're fighting each other. We're not friends at this point.
Exactly.
It was
I
time
hate
for
I
all
hate that.
that after the
You
fight.
want to know something funny?
Yeah, what's
I
up,
hate to
Mister?
sound like
Go ahead, Go ahead, Battle. Go ahead.
did Doc want to speak first or?
Yeah, I'll say, what's up, Mister Dog? Yeah,
No, I just was making the comment to book in what they were saying that there's time for all that after the fight. Go ahead, Battle.
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, good battle.
I hate to sound like I don't want to name drop, but you know what I'm talking about. I'll just say our famous our famous Irish friend um who likes to bring up like old boxing matches, but I'll never
Uh-huh.
forget one of my favorite press conferences to watch is George Foreman versus Frazier. And they seemed like they were pretty okay with each other. George Foreman, he wasn't doing the whole intimidated factor. He was just like, yeah, this is like the fights that me and my pops used to talk about. This is the fight that's for the ages, and I'm proud to have the chance to be heavyweight champion of the world. He was all pretty cool, but that didn't really change nothing when he I think he like split the dude lip in the fight. He knocked him down like 6 times. So,
Yeah,
Man, he hit Joe in the back of the head, but
oh come on, that's not fair. That
he
is not
did.
fair.
well,
No,
Foreman is
but it
known.
happened. He
Yeah,
didn't give a
but
fuck.
Foreman is known to be a guy who clubs people in the back of the head. I mean, let's be real. He does that. He did that in his career. But look, again, man, back to this, dude. Let me just go to the comments real quickly. MG says that I think Joshua would do better against Fury. It seems he struggles against shorter fighters.
That's possible.
It's possible, but I think he struggled with the movement. I think that's what was killing Joshua. The movement, the fading.
Oh, I haven't even got
Yeah,
my
the angles. He just
my
couldn't deal
thoughts
with
on.
it. He just had no answer for it. He just couldn't figure that out. You
And
want to
the
say
You want
that?
to know what I
heavy.
think about it? Dan, I
What's
haven't
up?
even got my full thing on it. I actually, really, when I first saw your title, I thought you was like, wow, we must have seen two totally different fights. 'Cause I think that fight was extremely close. I had the
Nah,
fight.
well, about you know what? I disagree, man. I respectfully gotta disagree with that.
Yeah,
Man,
he,
yeah,
That
you
was
wasn't even gonna let me finish on that one, huh? You was
well.
like, nah,
No, we can't do. We're not
I
doing
gotta jump
okay.
in.
I know. I
wrote
sorry I
my
have to
shit,
cut
I
you
wrote
off
my
there
shit
on
down
that
on the
one.
nightstand, man. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So now here we go.
I
Here
was
we go. I'm
literally.
gonna go through it with everybody. All right.
all right.
Uh-huh.
All right. Round one, Usyk. Round two, I
Right,
had
that's what I
even.
had it.
Hang on. I had round two
I had
even, so
AJ.
you got one swing round.
Right.
Round three, Usyk. 4,
Right,
Usyk. All right.
right,
5 and 6, I gave to AJ.
Uh-huh.
right,
7, Usyk. 8
Uh-huh.
right,
back to AJ. And then
right.
Usyk takes 9, 10, and 11. I got
And
swing
12.
rounds,
Yeah,
and the
9
12th
was
he
a swing for
dominated.
me. Yeah,
So
12, but
so
yeah,
now if
okay.
I take all three of my I had it 8-3-1 even Usyk. If you take all the swing rounds and give them to AJ, the best you get is a draw.
Yeah. So that I
Yeah, so
had a
that's what I said.
9-3.
That's what I
I had
said. It
9-3
was it
Usyk.
was it was a very close fight. It had a lot of swing rounds. So here's the thing. No, not a lot. No, let me take that back. If
I
I'm being
saw
completely
3.
honest,
To my eyes, there
No, there
was
was
3
only three.
rounds.
It was only three
yeah,
swing
yeah. If
rounds.
I'm being honest, it was probably like 3. 9 is definitely, in my opinion, a swing round. 9 was very hard to score.
Mm,
I'd say somewhat 10-2, but 11 and 12 that was definitely Usyk in my opinion. So the thing is with me,
The
I
reason
was
I
literally
said let me explain 11. The reason 11 I put as a swing round is because AJ the punches getting landed right may have been one thing, but whenever AJ was landed, he was moving Usyk all over the ring that round. So
right.
you have
right.
that, you know what I mean? You got that
Mhm.
visual in mind.
Right. And Usyk got off
Mhm.
a fast start in that round too. So, towards, Joshua kind of came back in the end, but
Right, but that 12th round that sealed the deal.
yeah, that
That
sealed the
sealed
deal.
the
So
Close
deal.
damn, how
strong.
did you score it? What did
I
you
scored
score
at
it?
9-3 Usyk.
Me too.
Nine
Okay, so we
three.
all
Oh
had
my
pretty close.
God. There's
So
no
we
Nah,
all
way.
had
no,
pretty
that
Okay,
was
what
the
close.
did you?
correct score. No,
The,
battle. Sorry, bro. That was the correct score because even the Ukrainian
oh
judge had it.
God! Yeah, I can't believe I'm hearing this, and I was actually rooting for
Wait,
Usyk. I
wait.
didn't think he
How
was
did you
gonna
score
win.
5 rounds
Oh
for
yeah,
Joshua? Hold up. How did you get 5 rounds to Joshua? Tell me
yeah.
again.
I'm not
I
mad at
gave
that.
him. Okay. I can explain. I gave him the second round. I gave
Okay.
him. I gave him the fourth and the fifth,
So
What?
hang
and
on, no, hang on, no battle. The second round, I'm not mad at yet because
actually, I take that back. It was the fifth and the sixth. I'm sorry. It was the
Okay.
fifth and the
Yeah,
sixth.
56. I can give you that. All right.
I gave him the second round. Um, I think I gave him number eight too,
who did you
and I
give 10 and 11 to?
I,
That's
I
the
think 10. I think 10. I gave to AJ, but 11 I gave to
Oh,
Usyk and
no, man.
12.
no. That's
No. Like
I
I'll
had
be
those as
completely
swing
honest.
rounds. So you're
So
not you're
I had to be completely honest. 9, 10 were the hardest rounds to score. Nine was the hardest by far, and I gave that to Usyk because it just looked like he got off the more flashier shots. Because even though AJ was landing, Usyk he like I said, like Dan said earlier, he was pulling some flashy counters. That's why I gave him the ninth round. So the 10th round was really hard because it was one of those moments where as soon as AJ hurt Usyk, it was almost like Usyk got off like 6 more shots that right before that happened. So it's kind of weird. Like, do I give him the round now because he looks kind of buzzed, or do I give him the round because he landed like 6 or 7 shots before that? You know what I mean? So like,
yeah. It's like who did more damage versus who did more work.
Well,
That's a classic judging conundrum.
well, you know what? Let me just say this. Look, 7-5. I look. You at the end of the day, you given the right man did win the fight, so I'll give you
Right,
that
you got
battle.
it right. You got it
But
right.
to me, I think giving AJ 5 rounds is overdoing it. That's just my view. I think 4 rounds
Really?
was, yeah, it is. I mean, 4 rounds, maybe I can live with that. 116, 112, but I think five. I think that's a bit too much because I think it was a much wider fight than that. Much wider fight.
Man, Usyk was letting off the gas, if I'm being completely honest,
Yeah,
because
and he came back strong at the end.
he did he did don't get me wrong, he did, but in my opinion, that fight was close enough to be a draw, or it could have swung in AJ's favor, if I'm being completely honest.
Nah, you're
No.
really
No,
pushing
okay,
it,
now I
bro.
gotta stop you in a battle. I was
No,
with
no,
you. Hang on. I just want to say, for the record, I'm with you right up till the point where you say if you really, really, feel strongly about it, you want to say it's a draw. Okay, because based on my own scorecard, I have to be consistent. I see no way you could give AJ the win, though.
No, look, let's put it this way. Let's put it this way, Doc. If we're being completely honest with ourselves, except for Dan, because Dan is in a whole other world with the 9-3.
Ah!
Most,
You trying to clown me? All
most,
right.
most people looking at that fight and actually scoring it live. I'm not talking about people who just looked at the fight and then afterwards like, you know what, I'm
No,
gonna do
yeah,
now.
my score's
The
live, so
people
there's
who were
flaws, I'm
scoring it
sure.
live, I'm pretty sure the most I'm sorry, the biggest differential between the two of you guys would have probably been 75 and 66. So a lot of you guys will probably had it either or
Uh,
draws.
No,
You get
my,
you
my
get what I'm
let me
saying?
just
score.
say this, Mr.
No,
Dye.
battle. My
No, no,
scorecard is live. I'm on record on Mark's Hangout. You
yeah,
can
that's what
hear
I'm
me
saying.
call
I'm
when I
saying
want.
Well, let me
for the
just say
people
this.
who
I'll be
scored the fight
fair.
live,
I'll watch the
the
fight one
scorecards
more
were
Hang on,
time.
Me
let
too.
battle.
Yeah, yeah. Let me just say something, dog, real quickly.
Oh yeah.
I'll watch the fight one more time to be fair,
All right,
because
me too.
sometimes at the end of the day, maybe I can score the fight different. But so
yeah.
far, I watched it twice already, and I still got the same scorecard, man. I just can't give Joshua no more than 3 rounds. Maybe four, I'll push it, but that's it.
3 rounds, man, I can't agree with you, man. Like he literally, like there was times where I literally seen him coming back. He was touching up Usyk just a little too much in the round. I'd be like, all right, Usyk, like what's
Wait,
the
wait,
deal?
wait.
Like,
What round did he land more than 3 shots? Maybe the fifth round give you that one.
did you see the fifth and the sixth?
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
those
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 two
were his
rounds.
best rounds. Those
The
were his
fifth and
Those
the
his
best
best
sixth were
rounds.
literally
That was that. To be fair, that's when it looked like AJ might be
and there
starting
was and
to
there was
assert himself. Yes.
there was
Yeah, that was
one
his best
round
round.
where Usyk, every time he tried to get off, AJ would just grab hold of him and then get off like a 3-4 punch combination when they would break up. I was like, whoa! I was like, bro, Usyk, what
Where
are
did
you
that
doing?
happen? I may have missed
That
that.
that happened. That happened. I think in round
there were
10, because Usyk
Eight.
was.
It was round 8 battle.
Okay,
I
you're
know.
right. Okay, you.
I'm looking at my scorecard that I wrote down
All
yesterday.
right.
So.
Well, Aya Booz is like, hey, look, man. Aya Boss says, look, I battle. I like to ride with you. He's a big AJ fan. He's like, nah, man, I can't agree with your card.
Bro,
Like I
hey,
said,
hey,
I
listen.
can
Hey,
agree to disagree all the way up to if you know it's pushing it if you want to call it a draw. There's no way AJ won that fight.
hey
No way.
Is y'all still on Hangouts?
hey
What's up? Go ahead, learner.
there's
Go ahead.
there was a controversy that they stopped the fight seconds like maybe
Bro,
Five
I
seconds
thought I was
earlier.
the only one who thought, bro. Damn, when you said that, I
I
swear
had the
to God,
volume up, so I wouldn't have known. I
I
didn't
got
even
up
know
out of
what's up
my
with this.
seat and I said, "Oh my God!" I thought it was the only one. When I saw AJ, and I was like, Usyk, what are you doing? AJ is on the ropes. He's vulnerable. Go for
Right.
it. And as
and he
soon as I
was.
said that, he started teeing off, and then I literally, you know how like once they do the clapper, they take away the time.
10 seconds left.
Like,
Yeah.
I swear, he threw like a 3-4. He threw like a 3 punch combination, and then the bell said, "Ding ding." I'm like, "What the what?" Like, it was like 7 seconds left. What just happened?
Yeah,
I,
yeah. And then there was the thing. I think that Eddie Hearn's protecting these guys somehow because when Dillian White got knocked out, they said it was a technical knockout. That looked like a KO to me.
That was a KO.
Oh. No, hang on. No,
It's
if
definitely
Eddie,
like
hang
KO.
on. Let's be real, guys. If Eddie wanted to really protect AJ, he totally could have had Usyk robbed.
He
You
could have
think that's
robbed him.
He,
come
But
he
on, man?
tried.
This is boxing.
They tried to swerve the fight. I'm just telling you, they tried to swerve the fight. He was Eddie Hearn was trying to get Anthony to fight someone else after the Fury fight fell apart. He's like,
Yeah,
you should have swerved him.
that's
Yeah,
true.
because they probably knew he was trouble. They're not dumb.
Yeah, they knew what Usyk could
man,
do. I mean,
they
they
stopped
had no
that.
choice. They really had nowhere else to go. I mean,
But
Because the
they
WBO
stopped
was
that
going to
fight early.
enforce it. Yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
stopped
look,
that fight early.
Right, but look, at the end of the day, look, you have your opinion battle. We all have our opinions, but that fight wasn't close, man. I'm just
Man,
being honest.
the
That fight
right
was
man won.
definitely close.
The
I
right
see.
man won. That's what
Yep, right
matters.
man got the decision. That's what matters.
Yeah, that's what matters the most.
Honestly,
But the
like if I make a like I said, if they gave the fight AJ, I wouldn't have been mad. I would have been like, okay,
What?
it was close
Well, you're
enough that it
about
could
the
have.
only person on the on this
No,
side of the
no,
pond that wouldn't have been
because
mad.
like I said, remember what I said.
yeah,
There was a certain point where the I think it was like round 8 or 9 where the fight was even. I never forgot. Or hold on. If it was okay, 3-3. Yeah, it was around 8 or 9 where the fight was around even. And like I said, I gave round 9 to Usyk, but like I said, it was a very close match. So I accepted in my terms that I probably could have gave that a draw, but because I saw Usyk with the flash of combos, it could have been somebody on the other end of me could have gave that round to AJ. But just because just after he won that round, it was like another swing round. So I could have been like, hey, I know somebody in their right mind could have picked AJ for round 9 or 10. So if
yeah.
they gave that to him, he's clearly up because they were even just the round before. You get what I'm saying, right?
Well, let me ask you this, battle. Let me switch gears a little bit. Should AJ take the rematch? And if he does take the rematch, how can he win the fight against Usyk?
Of course he can. He was clear. He was clearly Usyk, despite what people was trying to believe. Like he wasn't just so elusive that he was just so hard for AJ to just time. He could time him every now and again. The fact of the matter is, it's just that I think AJ got tired eventually. He should have held on longer in the clinches. Honestly, if he wanted to do better, because Usyk, although he was trying to break his way out of the clinch, he just wasn't strong enough to take
Need
on
to be
AJ in
more
that type of
physical.
size.
I agree with
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Need to be
he
more
should have been a
physical.
lot more physical. He should have just held on longer and let the ref break it up.
Push him around,
And
elbow him the whole bit. Yeah, yeah,
Well, the
yeah.
problem is that when you have a mover like that, like Usyk, and he's doing that through all the rounds, that's going to fatigue a fighter like Joshua, especially a guy who doesn't have the greatest endurance in the world. We know
of
Joshua
course,
has
and
the endurance
eventually,
problems.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
well,
eventually,
that
I
to
think he
me,
found out.
hey, real quick, Dan, I want to back you up on this. To me, Dan, that makes Battle's point all the more relevant because AJ, that's how the only way AJ is going to even up that whole gas tank scorecard is when he does get him in a clinch, rough him up, lean on him. You know what I mean? Make him hold your weight up that whole bit.
right.
And then to make things worse, I don't know if AJ realized it, but I definitely realized even before the AJ fight that Usyk, although he's a great counterpuncher and a great mover, he's not near as effective on the back foot as he is on the front foot.
I
And
don't
that
know
is
about
what,
that.
and that is what. No, 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 no. Like, if you're just going strictly off the Garcia fight, then cool. But if you look at almost every other fight, almost every single fighter he has fought where he struggled with, pushed him back and had very good success. Tony
Well, I
Bellew,
mean, if you're
Michael
if you're
Hunter.
if you're referring to the Derek Chisora fight, maybe the first 3 rounds, I give you that. But for the
No,
most
even more
part,
than the 3 rounds. What you mean?
they
He
made
was
4 or 5 rounds. But at the same time, he was countering Chisora off the back foot. He was hitting him very well. Where Chisora was
he was
coming
count.
in,
I
lunging in
think he
with
was
those
counter.
Well,
rights.
I
I
think he
think
was
that
counter
we're
Chisora more so in the middle of the ring. It was more so that once Chisora started really switching stances and like Usyk didn't know what to do. Honestly, I kind of had that fight with Derek Chisora honestly, but like I said, Usyk is just not near as effective. Go ahead.
well, he's like I think what you're saying, Battle, and correct me if I'm wrong, is he's a mover, but he's an in and out mover. I'm serious. He's an in and out mover. He's not a lateral mover like an Ali, right? You know what I mean? Circling
Right.
steadily to one way or the other. And yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
I don't
He's
know if you ever a good comparison. Somebody like Purnell. If you actually see this guy fighting on a back foot, you see it's almost like a violin playing. It's almost at
right.
rhythm. He is like one with it. He can do it just so extremely well.
Mhm.
And then you have people like how do I put it? Like Roy Jones. Roy Jones can fight on the back foot, but he's more so. I'm just gonna pick you off in the middle of the ring because
Yeah.
that's literally my go-to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so yeah, let me go to the comments real quickly. Abu says Eddie did try to swerve that fight. AJ said the whole time not dropping the belt. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I mean, that's why you gotta respect AJ. You know, we
Yeah.
can all criticize, we can all critique him.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, the one thing you can say is that he is a fighting man. He is a fighting champion. He's gonna fight all comers, whatever
And he seems like a stand up guy on top of
he's a
that.
stand-up guy. It's
Takes his
hard to not
L's.
like him. You
Yeah,
can
takes
criticize
his
him.
L's. He doesn't make excuses. I'm just
Right.
saying.
Yeah, that's true. He takes his L's, but one thing I'm worried about is that eye, man. I hope it's not a broken orbital bone. That looked pretty bad.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry if you don't like AJ. It's a very high chance that you don't like Eddie Hearn as well.
I think it's
because
more the reason why more so people don't like AJ is because of Eddie Hearn. That's probably what more so why people
right,
don't
right,
like him.
what he represents in boxing to be exact.
Yeah,
Because yeah,
yeah. Let me see. Apple says battle. You watched a different fight.
Ah.
Well,
no, no, I didn't. Like literally, I'm gonna see if you guys' names are still on my hangout. I'm gonna invite you guys to a hangout, and I can literally play back the rounds what I had on ring IQs when we were scoring because I
yeah.
literally was calling out the rounds as I was going.
Well,
Mhm.
well. Let me ask you this: that well, I'm not gonna go there. I'm gonna leave that one alone. But let me just go
No,
to the
go
com-
ahead, go ahead.
no. I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna keep it to myself. But let me go to the comments here. Hey, it's not about you, Battle Rifle. I'm just letting you know, it's not about you. It's something else that came in my mind. I'll leave that alone. But Abu says, I hate to say it, but AJ is going to have to use Vlad tactics to win the rematch. That's the only way. Yeah, if he has
Make
the
it
endurance.
dirty.
Jab and grab.
Yes. Make it
Yeah,
dirty.
yeah, I would agree. But if he has the endurance to do it, I just don't think can. And Usyk is
Well,
the
no,
type of
that
guy.
that see, okay. I'm gonna. What I'm getting my angle on it, Dan, is that's how he's going to preserve his energy by taking away by sapping Usyk's in the clinches. He's got to rough
Well,
him
yeah,
I
up.
that's the
mean,
thing, though.
I've
Usyk
seen
is
eight.
very, Usyk is very clever. He knows how to escape those situations. So I,
Yeah, he's gonna have to up.
yeah,
Honestly,
He's
I've
and
got
another
to
seen.
thing
up
too,
his
I would
clinch
say,
game, man.
yeah, let me say this too. Usyk sparred with the Klitschko's for years. He
Oh,
knows that type of style.
damn.
I
Yep, yep,
mean,
yep.
Yeah,
I mean,
so that
honestly,
may not
I've seen
work.
AJ do just as effective without the clinching because his job is actually on point that fight, in my opinion.
Yeah,
But honestly, like I said, he should have held on just a little bit longer. That's why I was kind of frustrated because when Usyk late rounds tried to get up on AJ,
yeah,
AJ was kind of like, let me duck my head a little low and get in this clinch.
yeah. Let me just say this. Let me go down to the chat. So a shout out to YG who just came into the chat, man. Let me see. Haplo says that exactly. He just doesn't have it. It's a killer instinct. Yeah, I think it's gone at this point for AJ, man. I mean, he could prove us wrong in the rematch, but we'll see.
Well,
Uh,
okay, hold up, hold the phone. What do we mean? Do we mean like? I mean, the guy needs to retire. I mean, I think there's a lot of heavyweights he could still beat.
well, I don't agree with that.
You,
You know what? I
you,
don't
But
you know what
agree
I
with.
think it is?
Wait, hold up, battle. Let
I
me
No,
say
think
let
this.
Dan explain. Let Dan.
You
Let
know,
Dan. Dan.
I don't agree that he should retire. Look, the heavyweights have just because he hasn't won two losses on the record doesn't mean he's done. No, you have to understand. There's a lot of the lifeline in the heavyweight division is a lot longer than the lower weights. You know
mhm.
what I mean? Joshua can still come back from this, but if he really wants to continue, and he can, he's got to make changes, man. He's got to get rid of Rick Crockett. He's got to do something else. He's got to change the style a little bit.
Doc,
So what's
you
up?
wanna know what it is? I think
He-
Doc. I think what it is for AJ to bring out that killer instinct. You would have to fight him in a fight where it's like Andrew Ruiz, where he's knocked out. Like, hold on, let me take it back. Well, kind of in a sense like Andrew Ruiz. You would have to knock him down early and then tap into a whole nother spirit while he's still fresh. If you get what I mean? Because if
Right.
it's a slow burn like Usyk, he's not going to know how to bring that energy out because he's way too tired to lift up his hands.
Yeah.
So if you knocked him down early, then he probably would have been like, okay, let me get on my grind and then throw this combo and then get in the paint and I'm gonna swing with you.
Yeah.
But I think the only way you would have to bring that out is if you just attacked AJ head on very early and just like knocked him down or something.
Well, like I said, though, man, I don't fancy. I don't. You guys like to eat in the UK and Ireland. You use the word fancy. I don't like to. I don't fancy Joshua's chances in the rematch because this is not an Andrew Weese type of fighter where you can catch him off guard when he's undisciplined, he's unmotivated. This is a guy who's been around the block for many years on world levels, always in shape, always training, always motivated. So I don't like. I don't know what he could do.
The hand speed, the hand. I'll
Honestly,
tell you, the one thing
he
that's
can
never
do
going to
something.
change, no matter what
It,
AJ does, the two things are never going to change: the
Yeah. Well,
foot
let me ask
speed
Battle.
gap,
Yeah. Huh? Go ahead, Doc.
and the hand speed gap. But go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. And let me ask Battle a question. Now, Battle, do you think Joshua, can win it? Do you see him winning the rematch?
he can. Like I said, it was a very close fight, and the fact that maybe this is not new. This is just an AJ problem. But it seems like Usyk cuts very easily. I thought I only seen one cut, but
Well,
apparently he
it's
had
not the
like
first
three.
time he's been bruised up. He gets bruised easily. I mean, he's been bruised against Breedis. He was bruised against Jazz Witherspoon, Chisora to some extent. So it's
Right.
nothing
Yeah.
new.
Yeah. And honestly, I thought he would just cut one time, but he was. It seemed like in the post fight contest, he cut like three times on his face. So the
Yeah,
thing is, it could be AJ just could start strong, and then like he did with Andy Ruiz, start strong and then coast when he's coasting. Tie him up, do like what he did with Andy Ruiz.
The
And of
problem he
course,
can't do what he did to Ruiz because Ruiz's feet are stuck in the mud.
Yeah,
See,
no, no,
exactly.
no. Here's the
Hang
thing.
on, because AJ had the foot speed advantage against Ruiz. It's the script is flipped here. It's Usyk that's got the foot speed and the hand speed advantage.
Exactly.
Here's my
And
thing.
here's one other thing I noticed. I don't know if you guys picked up on this. AJ, every single time Usyk would throw that right hook and then step to his right off the
Yeah.
line, AJ had nothing. He was lost, completely lost all night.
Right.
I bet Usyk could have thrown that 100 times and would have landed 101 of them.
Right. Hey, but
Now
let me
that
get
that
I know Hamed
go
just
ahead.
came in the chat, but let me get YG and Hamed in and see what
Mm-hmm.
they're for. Hey, YG, what's going on, man?
Yeah, what's going on, Dan? Thanks for having me on. Yeah, I like. I don't think Usyk gets cut easy. When I watched it back, he actually the two punches that cut him, he actually slipped the punches, and the punch like the punch just grazed his
Grace his
face.
head. Yeah.
Yeah, like and that just opened him up. It's just like almost you could say bad luck.
Right.
Oh, got clipped by the laces, YG or something.
Yeah, but three
Nah, I
times.
think it was more the tape or just the leather across the face
Mm,
because he's
mm.
if you it happened in the third round, he
Yeah.
actually slipped the punch and then when like as soon as he slipped it, he went back and then he touched his eye. Like you see him touching his eye with his own glove. It happened in the third round. I had watched the fight over last night while we were still on the call.
Yeah.
And then another funny thing that's happened to AJ too is that if his opponent doesn't trash talk him, he doesn't really come off with "I want to hurt you" energy. See, the two fights that he lost, like his opponent was being a gentleman.
Yeah.
Like that's why maybe I guess if he was to go up again, like if the Fury fight would have happened, Fury would have been trash talking him, so he would have went out there with a more like I want to hurt this guy
Yeah.
attitude. Because at no time really did he even after the rounds he was touching gloves with Usyk, like
Oh
he was
God,
like
I hate that so much.
I want to
I
be a
mean, to be fair, I mean, he was, he was nice with Veckin and he destroyed him. I mean, at the end of the fight.
yeah.
So,
I
Yeah, that's a
mean,
good
but
point.
Povetkin is 40 and like is different. It's different
I
because
don't,
it's
I don't think that's the problem. I think
Is
the
it is it
problem is
really
No,
different?
it's all I want to say real quick comment and
you
then
know
you can
why
go.
it's different because
wait, hold
I
on,
see
guys.
it
One
as
at a time. One
let
at
me
a time.
say
Go
what
ahead,
I
Doc. Go
I
ahead,
see
Doc.
it as symptomatic of a problem. Go ahead,
no,
Andre.
no, no, no. Yeah, I get that. But the problem is he's stuck between two different styles. Look, I was at the Parker fight. I was at the Takam fight. I should have been at the Klitschko fight, but I didn't end up going. There's a problem with travel and stuff like that. But the guy against Parker, it took him 7 rounds to figure Parker out. So I didn't understand why so many people are saying he's gonna blow through Usyk because the only guy he's blown out since he stepped up. Through world level, I don't count Eric Molina. It's Charles Martin, and we could all agree he's arguably one of the worst heavyweight title holders. So, if it's taking you 8 9 rounds to figure out Parker, who was extremely negative and defensive, I don't know. I think his game plan was wrong. Someone was saying, why was he only jabbing to the head? Because his jab was nullified. He should have done mixed it up with the jab, or either went for the knockout early, like throw his wad. I think it would have been dangerous. But go to the body earlier or mix it up. You can't be stuck between two styles and trying to outbox the superior boxer. I think the trainer needs to go. I'm not sure what his game plan was there. If I'm being
I mean,
Well, I think
I
they
think
were,
what it
to your
is.
point, Hamed, though, I think it's just the state of complicity because they know this guy's vulnerabilities. He can't take a punch that well. They know it. We got to, that's a fact. We got to face the facts. He cannot take a punch very well. He's got endurance problems. So they're stuck in
yeah,
between a rock.
Dan.
What's
That's
up?
true. That's true. But why come in 240 and try and outbox the boxer? You get me? If you're gonna try and outbox the guy, then come in like. I don't know. I got to give Usyk a lot of credit because he done a bit better than I thought he's gonna win the fight, but I did not think he'd win 9 10 rounds like that and almost have Joshua out on his feet 3 4 times. Like
Right.
I thought he'd win 7 8 rounds, but they may make you a draw or something like that. But he exceeded expectation. But
Wait, you
to the
have him
point,
winning 9 rounds?
yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
thought he
both
would.
did. Yeah,
No, I'm talking about the Hamed. I'm talking about Hamed.
Yeah, I thought he clearly won 8 rounds. I think 9 rounds he could
Oh
go.
my goodness.
What
Here we go.
how did you have it then? I don't think that was a close fight, if I'm being honest.
You didn't? You said you didn't think it was a close fight?
It
I don't
wasn't
think it was
battle, but
close.
go ahead.
Only one person here
Let,
thinks
let,
it
let him
was
finish, Dan.
Go ahead. I'm telling you. Go ahead.
So you didn't think it was a close fight, Hamed?
I don't think you could argue, but I don't think you could have it closer than 7, 8 rounds for Usyk. I seen some people having a draw. I don't know. I don't know what fight they were watching. That was not. That was not a close fight, man. That
Oh my
I think
gosh.
people. I think people need to. I think you need to rewatch the fight and maybe switch off the commentary. The punches that were landed in the first 6 rounds were all from Usyk. I think Joshua may have won one, maybe 2 rounds, but he got dominated in that fight. Like maybe you could give him 3, 4 rounds, but after that, I think you're even 4 rounds. I think you're being generous. After that, I think you're stretching it. Like if you
But
had it seven
the fight
five,
was literally even at round 7, wasn't it? You don't think it was even at round 7?
Yeah,
but from
that's only 3 rounds though. That's 3 rounds apiece.
So,
but then
And
of
he
then
course,
and
didn't
then
win.
of
if
course,
you
of
if you
course.
if you
I didn't
okay.
get to the other
Battle. I got my scorecard right here now. You said after what round?
this is set
after round
going into the
7
One,
seventh
two,
because I
round.
three,
gave him the
four,
second, the
five,
fifth,
six,
and the
seven.
sixth.
Okay, after 7, I had it. 4-2, one even. Usyk.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's not the point. There's a 12 round fight. After 11 rounds,
And,
I
and, and
thought he was down.
Usyk on my card swept the last 4 rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
same as me.
He
that
Same as me.
swept the last 4. So you had
yeah.
him win. You had him winning
What?
the ninth.
Now, in my defense, I did mark. I did asterisk 10 and 11. I thought they might be swingish rounds, and obviously the
No,
Yeah,
even
no, no,
rounds
no.
aren't too.
One of them was close. I don't think. I don't think they were both swing rounds. Joshua.
Yeah.
I think Joshua won. Joshua won round 5 and 6 on my card, and then I think he may have won round 8. After that, I think there's one more round you
7.
could have
I
given
gave
him.
I gave him 5. I gave him I gave him 5-6 on that, and then I gave him 7.
I gave him 8. All right, I didn't give him
Oh,
7, but I gave him 8.
okay. See, yeah,
Hmm.
it's not it's not a perfect
Yeah.
science.
So like then again, if you're gonna okay, if we're gonna just look at it from that perspective, because I didn't get to the other part yet. If he clearly won 3 rounds and Usyk won 3, and it's even at 7, who did you have for round 8?
I don't think he won clearly 3 rounds. I thought he won about clearly 2 rounds. There was a round I gave him that I thought that could have went either way. So I had a
Which one?
9-3, but I think it was round 5 or 6. One of them. One of them he won, but there was one I thought he either won it, but I just gave it to him because I thought, he did better than he did in the other rounds. If I'm being
Wait. So
honest,
you had Usyk winning round 5 or 6?
No,
I
we
can't
didn't.
No,
remember.
no, no. Everybody gave those are like the most obvious
No,
AJ
because
rounds, 5 and
okay,
6.
because when I asked him, he
No,
said
he
that I
said.
think you can only. Go ahead.
No, I didn't say Joshua clearly won his rounds. I thought those rounds were close as well, but I gave him 3 rounds.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Okay. You gave him 3 rounds. Okay. So
Yeah, yeah.
okay, we're on the same page then. So if it's even then at round 7 then, right?
But I don't get your point. It's a 12 round fight.
No. I'm breaking it down. So I'm saying who did you? Okay.
Okay,
So if
Hamed.
it's even.
Well, let me translate for you. Battle. Hamed had it 4-2 AJ or 4-2 Usyk after 6.
Yeah. 5-3
Okay.
after 8.
So you didn't have him winning 3 rounds. You had him winning 2.
Well,
Yeah,
okay.
no,
All right,
we're going
hold on,
through.
hold on.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah.
back up.
We're getting lost in the weeds
Yeah,
here.
we're getting
Dan.
lost
Get
here.
control.
Yeah,
Bro,
let
you
me.
can't count.
Yeah, let me make sense of this. Hamed had it 5-3 for Usyk going into the 9th round. After the 9th, 10, 11, 12, Usyk swept it. That's how he came up with 9-3.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, I could
that
live
makes
with
sense.
8-4. I could live with 8-4 though. If you had 8-4, I could live with that scorecard. But
And
I did not think.
I know
Yeah.
exactly why you said that because there was a round. It was probably like how y'all saying. I think it was like the 7th or 6th round that Usyk like type took off and Joshua was just a little busy, but he didn't
Yeah.
even really do no work. Like only thing I think that was the round where he like threw some like a right uppercut to the body or something like that, and
Yeah.
threw a couple of jabs where you could lean and be like, all right, that was a Joshua round. So 8-4, 9-3. That's it. Like
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
I like if you even if wanted 8-4, like
The
they're
most,
still the same thing.
if you wanted to be the most super generous, AJ scorecard on the planet, you might be able to squeeze out a draw, and that'd be at best.
Nah,
Nah,
I-
nah, nah.
You can't do that, man. This is not.
Well, no,
7-5.
again, no, I say that because I got to be consistent with how I did it live as I was watching it. I marked down 3 swing rounds. If I give all 3 of those swing rounds on my card over to AJ, it becomes a draw. So
No, but have you
that's the only reason I
rewatched
say
Hey,
it?
hold on, guys. Real quickly. Hey, boxing learner. I got another guy who wants to come in. You mind stepping out real quickly? I'll let you back in shortly. Boxing learner.
Yeah, I can step out.
Oh, battle? No. You stay on. I want boxing learner. Boxing learner. Can you step out real quickly? Well, I
I think
guess.
he's gone.
He's probably not there. I
All
can
right.
step out if you want me to.
He said I step out.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I
you
didn't hear.
did?
My bad. Go ahead.
I
Oh,
thought
okay.
that was back to. All right.
I thought it was battle. Okay. All right. Thanks, man. I'll get step out real quickly. I'm gonna have Haplo wants to come in.
All right, I haven't talked to Haplo in a minute.
Yeah.
Man, Hapro gonna start yelling.
Yo,
Start
Doc,
yelling at me.
what's going on, Doc?
Nah, I'm not
What's
gonna
up?
yell at anybody. What's
How
up,
you doing,
guys?
What's up,
Haplo? Good to hear from
What's
you, bro.
up, guys? What's up?
What's up, man?
I just want to say, I think that fight was not even close, man. That was a 10-2 fight, bro. And like,
true.
Oh my god.
even if you're trying to let me talk. I've been listening to you for a while now. Even if you want to score that fight for AJ, you still can't, because look, even in the rounds that AJ won, he was still getting hit more than he was hitting Usyk.
Yeah.
Go and count the punches. Other people have done it already for you, but even in 5 and 6, Usyk was still touching him up, and I gave AJ 5 and 6. But maybe you could find one more round, in my opinion. Now, this is my opinion. I respect your opinion. But in my opinion, you cannot give AJ more than 3 rounds in that fight. I don't care what you say. His jab sucked. It wasn't working. He should have stepped in with the jab, pushed Usyk back to the ropes, cut the ring off, and then swarmed him with shots and gotten him out of there in 6 rounds. That should have been the game plan.
He tried defense with him, Haplo. He made the same mistake with him that he was making early on with Vlad.
He was just standing in the middle of the ring. He was standing in the middle. He was standing in the middle of the ring, pushing a
trying
jab.
defense. That's what I'm saying.
Pushing a
trying
jab.
to play a jab game with him.
Not snapping a jab and stepping into it. That was a big mistake. He should have gotten him to the ropes. He never did it. Never once in the entire fight was Usyk on the ropes taking punishment. Not once.
You know what? Now that you bring it up, I don't even remember him, really imposing himself physically.
Yeah, for the most part, Usyk was the one who was pushing Joshua back for the most part of the fight. You pushing him to the ropes, Usyk.
Yeah, so there's no way AJ won and it wasn't close. That's all.
Well, yeah, there's no way. There's absolutely no way you could.
Well,
score
to be
that
fair,
fight
but be fair though. Wait, hold on. But be fair, Battle did score the fight for Usyk. He just thinks it was a close fight. That's the only thing.
No, I get it, but it wasn't a close fight. And the jab, the two things I disagree with them on. It was not a close fight, and AJ's jab sucked.
Right.
But other than that, he has a right to.
He tried to play. He tried to defense with him.
Yeah.
No, but the thing. Can I just say his jab was just like he was flicking his jab out. At that point, I think you either need to change your game plan or you need to use your jab to do something else. You either go to the body or you start feinting and throw the right hand. You can't just flick the jab on when you're getting hit back. The thing is, I just don't think he's a fighter. I think he's a good fighter. He's probably the most consistent and accomplished before this fight. But look, the 3 biggest victories were against arguably were Klitschko, who was past his prime, very good win, who was old, Povetkin as well, and then Pulev, I thought, to Sid Benavides. The 2 guys he beat, Parker and Ruiz, good maybe performances, but those guys were in their prime and they went the distance. So I just couldn't see Joshua blowing this guy out or knocking him out. I thought the only way that happens is if Usyk throws his game plan out the way, which he wasn't going to do. I thought either the only way.
And just for the record, Hamed and I never agree on anything. If we're agreeing, bro, that's correct.
I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, all right, that's true. But I just think this fight, people were basing it too much off the Chisora fight. Look, Chisora, Dan knows this. I spoke
different
to
animal,
and Josh,
different animal.
Yeah, they have a different
styles,
style.
big fights.
Well, they have a different style. Yeah, they have a different style because Chisora is actually more durable. He's a guy that's going to swarm you. He knows he's going to get hit. He's like, okay, you hit me, I'm going to definitely hit your ass back.
Well, you see, no, and he starts like a house of fire. You seen what he done to Parker?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what
He comes out like a house of fire.
that's what Chisora does, and I'm trying to tell people that's not AJ's style. He's not that type of fighter. He's not a pressure fighter. That's not
That's
what he
the
does.
adjustment. That's the adjustment. He's gonna. I'm not saying he has to turn into Chisora, right? But if he's gonna beat Usyk, he's gonna have to physically impose himself, and he's gonna have to push him physically. Forget about forget about boxing with the guy. And number 3, forget about trying to don't fence with him. I was on Mark's handout. I was screaming at him. What are you doing? Do not stand there and fence with him. You will not win that battle that way.
Well, I don't think he has to throw caution to the wind just because Usyk is a superior boxer.
No. That's why I said I don't want him to turn into literally Chisora, but he's got to be more.
He has to be more aggressive.
Yeah. He's got to be more imposing
the point
and
I was
aggressive.
trying to make, Doc, was that I think the game plan was for him. From what it looked like, was him just to be the taller and the longer fighter and just get him at the end of his punches, and that's what he was effectively doing. Which I got to bring to Haplow's point because he said his jab sucked. That was actually the reason I gave him the 5th and the 6th round because his jab was on point those rounds. But I think the thing is he was just trying to be longer and stronger than Usyk, not to rough him up.
He tried to get Battle. He tried to jab. He tried to jab with Usyk.
Can I just make a point to Battle's point?
Yes, sir.
Because he was addressing me. There are different types of jabs you can throw. If you just stand there and push a jab, I wouldn't even say he was flicking the jab. He was pushing it. If you watch his arm, it's an arm punch. There's a way of throwing a jab where you step in with it. You take a step and throw the jab, and it's a thudding jab that will push somebody back. If he could have pushed him back, I'm not saying he should have fought like Chisora. All he had to do was step in with the jab, push him back to the ropes, and then cut the ring off and throw punches. Throw your uppercut. Throw your hooks.
Basically, like Klitschko, when look, I'm not going to compare the jab because Klitschko's jab is like probably a million times better. But Klitschko would set the jab to set other punches up, like the left hook, the right hand. With Joshua, I didn't know what he was doing with that jab. He was throwing it just to throw it, and I think the problem is
he was pushing it, Hamed.
Yeah,
he was pushing.
He did the same thing. He did the same thing when he fought Vlad. AJ did. When he almost got knocked out. He was sitting there, standing in the middle of the ring, pawing the jab out, trying to play a fencing game that he's not. These guys are levels above him in that aspect of the game. Don't play their game. You can't. He's fighting their fight.
Yeah, hey, we're quickly, guys. Shout out to Big Boys in the chat. I haven't heard from him in a long time, brother. He said that I had Joshua winning 5 rounds, 5, 6, and 8. I thought 7 rounds at 7 and 9 were close, but like Doc says, if the judges gave it to him, it would have been a draw. But I had it 9-3 or 8-4 to Usyk. So let me just say this:
10-2 fight. It was a 10-2 fight, and I'm gonna jump out, and you can bring Lerner back.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Good for hearing from you, Haplo. I hope you're good, man.
Salute,
brother.
Peace, brother.
Please.
That was a good take, but I had the same round, Dan, like 5, 6, and 8, and I posted it in the Google Hangouts group. I think 3 rounds is about right. I think maybe we could go to 8-4, but if you rewatch that fight, I just think Joshua started way too late. And by the time, like Dwyer said, I think this is a fight Dwyer's take is pretty much on. If Joshua hasn't hit him by round 4 or 5, the title
Dwyer. Sorry.
That's the thing about it.
Dwyer's going to be pumping out the videos, isn't he, Dwyer?
That's the thing about Dwyer. He never usually, Dwyer, we're all human. Dwyer doesn't always get things right, but he was definitely right when he said this. Yep. If he doesn't get Usyk out by the 4th round, then Joshua's going to lose that fight. He was right.
That's funny you say that. The thing I was saying, right, when we were on the hangout yesterday and we were getting up to the main event and we were all, everybody's, okay, all right, prediction time or whatever. How do you see this going?
Yeah.
And I was like, I reserve the right to make up my mind within the first 4 rounds because I have to see if Usyk could get his respect. As soon as I seen him hit AJ with them straight lefts, and AJ get pushed back, AJ's in trouble. I knew immediately.
He was getting hit with those all night. He just literally had no answer for it. I was like, what, dude? I was like, I think
we all knew Usyk would land punches, but the big question was,
could he hurt him?
Yeah, exactly. Or at least get his respect.
Right.
And he did. He was able to do that.
And that's another thing too. Vice versa. That AJ in no way in that fight he couldn't get Alexander Usyk's respect, none
Yeah,
whatsoever. That's another
but
thing too. Well, go ahead,
I
Ahmed.
think sorry, I think he Joshua showed him a bit too much respect. I think he may made a mistake in the Parker fight, and he may have thought that this is going to be another tricky fight. But I said this before the fight. A lot of people were criticizing and disagreeing. I said I think Usyk style wise is probably gonna have a more easier time against Joshua than Wilder and Fury.
Yeah.
Wilder, I don't know what he's got left in the tank, but Wilder, we know, look, that's not going to be a boxing match. Wilder will look to land that right hand. With Joshua, he was stuck between two different game plans, and
Mm.
that's why I think the trouble came in.
Right. Right. And Big Boy says that, hey, yeah, look, yep, I see the only chance of Johnson winning and getting the win. He's gonna have to be the bully boy tactics. He's gonna if he doesn't get him out there before the 6th round, he will get knocked out, meaning Anthony Joshua. So yeah, if he doesn't get
Mm.
respect to bully him no later than the 4 rounds, then he's gonna lose the fight. So yeah, and then Big Boys also said that he was touching him up with the jab, try to set it up with the right hand behind it, but Usyk is way too smart. Yeah, I mean that's a good
So
point. I mean,
I'm
it's not like Joshua was just flicking it out for no reason whatsoever. He was just trying to feint with that jab a little bit and then trying to come in with a right, you know what I mean, or a right hook, whatever the case may be. He was trying to outfeint
Exactly, Dan. See, we're going through all these different things where why are you trying to play that game with him? Don't play a feint game with him. Don't fence with him. And he did all those
Yeah,
things.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played all the wrong. The tactics were all wrong for AJ.
Well, that's
so
the thing,
I'm
though.
I'm,
I
re-
mean,
I'm
it's easy. I
replaying
mean,
the
like I said, it's easier said than done. Is like to me, again, we could say, yeah, he should have did what he did. He should have posed his, he should apply pressure and and impose his power in his size, his attributes. But he just doesn't have the durability. That's what we keep missing here.
Or
Josh,
I think he's just not that guy. He's not
yeah,
that type
yeah.
of
He's
No,
just,
fighter.
no, that's
Very
true.
good.
That's true. That's true.
well, hold on,
Sorry,
hey guys, real quickly. Hey, Hamed, can you take over the hangout? I mean, the live stream real quick. I'll be right back. Okay.
all right, all right.
Ahmed,
Or do you
you're
want
in
to duck
charge.
because he's
Oops. My bad. I didn't mean to mute you, Mohammed. My bad.
all right, all right, yeah. All right.
All
Can I
right.
just
I'm
say,
watching. I'm going back over the watch party. When it was recorded, and I had it 5-4 going into round 10. So I'm about to finish the rest of the fight footage, and I'm about to
all right,
see,
All right.
5-4 to who though? To Usyk or Joshua?
to Usyk.
All right, all right.
So actually that I was actually kind of wrong. It was the ninth I gave to Usyk. No, I was right about that. The ninth I gave to Usyk, that was no, into the back. The ninth I gave
No,
to
no, I
Joshua.
want you to keep update us a battle because I have 10 and 11 on my card. I marked them down as swing rounds. I'm curious to hear how you scored those. So let us know as you keep going.
Yeah, I had to skip forward a little bit because it is kind of like an hour long fight. But yeah, like by round 10, I had just gave Joshua the ninth. I was actually wrong about that. I gave Joshua the ninth, so it was 5-4 for Usyk. So
I did 6-3. All right. No, no, that's fair enough. We probably disagree on one round. The thing is, I agree. I don't think he might be that guy, but I got to give him credit for taking the fight and not dropping the belt. But at the same time, I do think there's things in his game which may have been exposed to a degree. I think some people may have been overlooking it. I thought at times against Parker and Ruiz, his footwork to a degree, Joshua's was kind of shown to be, limited. It's just Parker, not Parker. I mean, Ruiz is a guy who's very heavy-footed. But in
Yeah,
this
his feet
fight,
are
I
too
think
slow.
in this fight, Usyk showed that he is the superior boxer, and I think the only other guy in the division who may be just as skilled or maybe more skillful is Fury. Outside that, I'm not sure anyone else has got the footwork, the ring IQ.
I'm gonna maybe get some heat for this one, but I feel like there is a guy that's proven in the ring. He's at least in he can hang with Usyk skill wise.
Okay.
Michael Hunter.
I was gonna say, I thought Michael Hunter gave him a
A good
tougher
fight.
fight than
Very tough
Joshua,
fight.
arguably.
Yep.
It was
Yeah,
a
but
great
not
fight.
inarguably. It was very tough. Yeah, he made it hard work.
It was a great fight, but he should have been stopped, in my opinion. He should have
Oh
stopped.
yeah, yeah. In the last round, yeah.
He should have been stopped. That was not cool what they did. He was taking too much damage.
Who's that?
That was a good
What are we
fight,
talking about?
yeah.
The
Michael
Hunter
Hunter.
Usyk fight?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
he was getting been stopped.
Well, he was
I
almost
thought
out
that
on
fight.
his
I
feet.
thought that was a good fight. I thought that was a good 8-4-7-5 performance
It was a
in
great
defeat
I
fight.
had
by
that.
Hunter.
I love
I
watching
had
it.
that 8-4. Yeah, I had 8-4, maybe 9-3, but Hunter, I thought, was winning after 6 rounds. It's just the last half, Usyk took over. But I thought the last round, you could have either scored a 10-8 or they could have stopped it. Hunter took like 20 something unanswered
Punch,
punches. I
fucking
think that,
punches, man. What the fuck was
yeah,
that?
the
But
referee let it
the
go because I think it
point
was the
being,
last round.
at the time, a lot of people called that Usyk's toughest test.
Yeah,
Oh, it was, it
Afterwards.
was.
Hunter was awkward in there. He was making it hard for him.
So I wouldn't be averse to them fighting at heavyweight, running it back.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Why not?
That's true, that's true. But who did people think won? Because I didn't watch the full fight. Hunter and Povetkin. I know it was a draw, but I've seen some split
I thought
opinions.
Hunter edged it, but I wasn't mad at the draw.
All right. It's a close fight. Yeah, I remember it was a close fight. But in some rounds, I didn't score it. Like I didn't score it round by round. I will try and rewatch that fight because I remember that was a good fight. The main
Yeah.
event was, I thought, way too one-sided and boring to a degree. Joshua did what he had to do, but Ruiz came in there and looked way out of shape, worse
Yeah.
than he does.
It-
See, and
Okay,
Povetkin, because remember, this is pre Dillian White, pre COVID Povetkin, who's still pretty good. And again,
Yeah.
styles make fight. Hunter,
Okay, I can remember now.
a lot of these. I think stylistically, I'm not saying who wins, but stylistically, I think Hunter gives AJ has an easier time with AJ than he did with Povetkin just because of the styles.
That's true. That's probably
Because he's
a
going to
fair
have the
assessment.
same advantages. Because he's got the same advantages that Usyk does, which is the hand
Yeah.
speed and the foot speed and the angles.
Okay, so now I now remember what I gave AJ in the round, and a lot of people are going to think this is controversial, but this is what I had it because the rounds were so close, and AJ was getting off some good combination punches.
Right.
So I had AJ winning the second round,
Okay, I had that even, so I'm not mad at that. Go ahead.
the fifth, the sixth,
Yep.
the seventh. I'm sorry.
Seventh.
I'm
Okay,
sorry,
the seventh we
fifth,
might fight
the
over.
sixth,
You gave him
and
the
then the
eighth.
ninth. I'm
You
sorry.
gave
I'm
him the
sorry
eighth.
about
You
that.
said
I'm
though.
going over the fight footage because it was recorded on Ring I Choose channel, so I gave him. I
Right.
gave him
You said you gave him the ninth though, right?
yeah, the ninth and the seventh. So
That's
those
6
are the
rounds.
rounds. Huh?
Okay, the seventh
6
round
rounds.
is the only. To be fair, in fairness to Battle, the only round I really disagree with you on is round 7.
Right. Okay.
No, I'm
That's
saying
totally cool. That's totally cool. So that's what I had. It was I had
Yeah.
Usyk winning 7-5, and those are the 5 rounds. So Usyk definitely just it's the 1, the 3, the
No,
4.
and this is
Those
part
are
of the
clear
fun.
Usyk.
This is, for me at least, part of the fun of the sport is listening to everybody's different interpretations because it's not an exact science. You know what I mean? And especially when you're talking about what you saw live, you know what I mean, versus watching it back in slow mo and all that nonsense, right? We
Yeah,
all
yeah.
see.
It's
I feel
better
like
for me to go
it's
over the fight footage.
part of the fun. Part of the fun of these kind of conversations is we all kind of have different, we all notice different nuances, and we kind of we get collectively, we bring together a more complete picture.
I just don't think that was I thought Wilder Fury 1 was more closer. Obviously, 2 different fights, but in that fight,
Yeah.
Wilder had 2 knockdowns. So for him to draw, you just got to give him 3 more rounds. I had Wilder losing 8 rounds to 4. I think you could maybe argue 9-3, but I was not mad at one of the judges who had a draw. Like I could understand watching that live how
Oh,
it was a draw.
no,
because
now this is spicy, Hamid. I don't know if I agree with you with that. I felt like the only rounds Wilder won in that fight were the rounds where he got the knockdowns.
Well, to be fair,
But there was
hey, Javier, thanks for holding
all
it
right,
down
yeah.
for me, man.
No
Let me
worries.
jump in.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if you watch that fight again, I watched it like more than 10 times already. The first 5 rounds were pretty swing rounds. You could have gone either way. So you could see how the UK
Which
judge,
fight? Which fight, Dan?
the first Wilder fight.
Oh, no, okay. Now come on. That first round was Fury all day. He had Wilder wobbled at the end.
Yeah, you could argue he won it because he came in, because Wilder started off, started off early to get his punches out, and then Fury finished the round strong. So you can argue that you can give that to Fury. That's my whole point. Those first 5 rounds were pretty swing.
No, but
So
the first 5 rounds, I think you could argue I thought Fury clearly won the first round. I slightly disagree, but you could argue a 3-2 Fury. Now, if it's 3-2 Fury there, and you give him
Mm.
the two knockdown rounds, you have it 8-4. If you give him one more round, maybe I disagree, but you could come up with 7-5. I don't agree with it. I think it's 8-4 Fury, and he wins by one round. But I
Right.
can't argue. I can't argue vehemently over one round. That's what I'm trying to say. This fight had it 9-3. I just don't see this was a close fight. Like
And
Well,
this
this
at the
wasn't.
end,
wasn't.
okay.
Yeah, but this was what. Yeah, to Ahmed's point though, this wasn't a Wilder Fury fight where it was pretty competitive where you had two
Yeah, yeah.
knockdowns. Nobody had a knockdown in the fight. I mean, Usyk clearly had Joshua hurt in 3
No,
rounds.
hey, time out, guys. Come on now.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not talking. I'm not putting words in anybody on the panel here's mouth, but I'm saying the overall feedback I recall after the first Wilder Fury fight was 99.9% of people, and I'm talking about the people that I interact with and respect, were like, "What the fuck are you talking about a draw? Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah, I remember that, Mr. Doc.
All
I
right,
know that.
I'm not saying that's right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm just making sure we're being what's the
Consistent.
word?
Consistent.
Yeah.
But I had Fury winning as well. I had Fury. My point is this: in that fight, two judges I thought were reasonable scorecards. The one who had Wilder winning, I thought that was criminal. That's bad as Adley bid. But I thought you could go anywhere from 9-3 Fury to 7-5. And if you had a 7-5, I could understand how some people may have had a draw. I don't agree that it was universally a clear draw when I rewatched it.
No,
When I was
okay,
watching it live,
I'll tell you what. I'll meet you a little bit in the middle here. I don't agree. We'll never agree on the scorecards. Which fight was, more dominant? But the visual of the two knockdowns definitely casts. You know what I mean? It creates a different perception.
Yeah, it gives you a different perception of the fight. Yeah, that's a good point. So, like I said, in this case, Usyk didn't get knocked down in this fight.
Right, but I feel, Dan, this fight was closer. Not that it was close. I'm just saying we're going relative here, right? I felt like outside of the two knockdowns, I felt like Fury pretty much dominated.
Yeah, he would have won the fight.
Fight.
Yeah, no question about it. He would have won the fight if even
can I say?
Yeah.
The thing is this: going into the 12th round, we could all agree if Fury doesn't get decked in the 12th, there's no argument that you could even argue is a draw. But with that knockdown, Wilder wins 2 rounds. Now, to give him 3 more, I think you got to give him a couple of swing rounds. But I could see how you could come up with 8 rounds to 4 and 7 rounds to 5. If it's 7-5, then it's a draw. Now, I don't agree how they scored it because one judge gave to Wilder by 7-5. He's trying to say Wilder wins even if he does.
Yeah, no.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, look, let's be honest. Wilder earned the draw.
Hey, shout out! You know what? I'm sorry,
he earned
Dan.
the draw. Yeah, I'm not going. I was going to say, yeah,
Before I
Wilder. Go ahead, Mr. Doc.
I just want before I forget with my old timers, right? Shout out to the fucking judges. Can we give a shout out to the judges? We didn't. I didn't. Maybe I missed it. I didn't feel like there was a what I call a turd in the punch bowl scorecard. The right guy. Everybody had the right guy winning.
Yeah, well, fair enough, but I do have a bone to pick with Harold Foster. Me and Ahmed.
Lots of people have bones to pick with Howard Foster for a variety of reasons.
Yeah, Joshua winning after 8 to 6 rounds. I don't know. I think he was.
Hey, he got the right winner. Let's.
Yeah, but he had no choice.
Accept him.
He had no choice
for who he is.
Ahmed made a great point. He had no choice because look, we know Howard Foster was shady. He's a shady character. He was trying his best to give Joshua the benefit of the doubt, but he couldn't.
No, hang on, Dan. Is that the same Howard Foster that was inexplicably the UK judge that scored the first Holyfield Lennox Lewis fight a draw?
No, it wasn't him. That wasn't him.
It was an English guy. I know it was a UK guy.
No. It was what's her name? It was American It was American judge. I forgot her name.
Shirley.
No, the first Holyfield Lewis. I'm gonna look this up.
No. It was an American judge. Her name was it was an African American.
Shirley or no?
Yeah, I don't think she judged scored any fights after that because it was controversial.
He got suspended. The thing with this fight is, I think Usyk took it out the judge's hands.
He did.
Like Steve Weisfeld, I think that scorecard is, a fairly reasonable scorecard. But I
Right.
remember when he was judging Charlo and Castano, he scored one of the rounds a 10-8. And that's what my point was. He was trying his best to give that fight to
Charlo.
Charlo. In this fight, House Foster's doing the same. Like, I don't know. I think to a degree, Howard Foster, I think we need to be careful with the guy. In the future, I think, he's going to try and favor the house fighter, which I think he was trying to do in this fight.
Okay,
Yeah.
But overall,
I found it. I found it, guys.
Okay.
What it was. Now we're both kind of right here. What it was, Dan. There was the American judge that scored it in favor of Holyfield, Eugenio
Right.
Williams. The
Right.
guy I was thinking of was Larry O'Connell from the UK that scored it a draw.
Oh yeah.
And I remember it being said, Larry Merchant making a comment about him apologizing afterwards to the UK for that.
Yeah, look, it was criminal. Lennox, even though Vender was my guy, but Lennox earned that win. I mean, Lennox was robbed. I was shocked too when I saw that. I was like, "What the fuck?" I laughed.
Well, and the UK, the UK guy giving him that was the part that made it really stiff.
Right.
Even the UK judge screwed you. Oh man, what did you do to them people?
The UK judge in the Wilder Fury fight that scored a draw. But I think we could agree the Wilder Fury fight was closer than the Holyfield and Lewis fight. Maybe
yes, okay. Now I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Because that should have been a whitewash. Yeah. That was brutal robbery. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say earlier.
Hey, did any of you guys see the fight with Lee Shelby and George Kambosos Jr.?
Yeah, we saw that fight. That was a long time ago. I mean,
I
can you argue that Kambosos won the fight? Maybe it was close, but
I think
you think Shelby won it?
Yeah, he won it.
You think?
Yeah, George Kambosos Jr. shouldn't even be in the fight with Teofimo Lopez. He lost that fight. I watched it like 3 times, and there were some times where he was looking good and he was slipping a lot of punches and making a miss, but he never really won. He just got outboxed. There wasn't too many punches landed. But Lee Shelby he landed more and he landed cleanly, and he should be fighting Teofimo Lopez. At first, I couldn't understand because I was just listening to commentary of kind of local sports of the fight,
right?
And he seems to be. I thought he's a good judge of boxing until I watched it myself, and because I heard so many people were mad because they thought the guy got robbed. I'm like, yeah, he pretty much got robbed, and the guys, the commentators, the UK commentators were on point. But the UK judges were trash.
One had it too wide for Kambosos. He had the 10-2 or something for Kambosos.
Yeah, somebody had a 10-2. I was like, whoa, that was what type of fight was that? What fight was he watching? I mean, look.
Well, now let me be. I'll be to make this interesting, Dan. Right? Because we all at heart we all agree. The judges in boxing are shit, right?
Right.
I'll play devil's advocate here. We got to keep in mind we have in my opinion, a much better view of the fight than they do. You have to remember they're in a fixed position on one side of the ring, right? And so if the action goes to the other side, or one guy's in the corner and one fighter's got his back to him, he can't see what the other fighter's doing, right?
Yeah,
so he don't know if the guy's getting bullied or if he's getting counterpunched.
They need to fix that.
Okay, now I remember, Doc.
They need to fix that.
Okay, now I remember, Doc.
Hang on, Battle. Let us finish up. Go ahead. What you're saying there? We've got to fix it. You're saying?
Yeah, we got to fix that because, man, it's not fair. It's not fair because if that's true, since they are in a fixed position, then they don't get a fair assessment of the fight.
Yeah, it's not even all. It's like I'm saying. It's not always their fault. It's what I mean. They're stuck with one very fixed perspective of the fight. You get me? So there's going to be action that they don't see. There's going to be action that they see that we don't see, right? Necessarily, depending on the camera angles we're getting. And there's going to be stuff that they interpret, varying ways because of the angle.
Right.
I've always felt like they should have monitors.
I agree.
But, I mean,
that help.
I don't know. I think it would help. It wouldn't fix it, but it would at least improve things. I think.
Yeah, that will help. Let me go to the comment real quickly here. Let me see forgive me if I butcher your name here. Let me see. Tars Farsal. It says here that if you were watching Joshua for the first time yesterday, he would not appear to be a boxer with puncher. He lost his identity. I guess you're alluding to the fact that he came in maybe too relaxed. He seemed to not. He seemed a little nervous in the press in the in the presser, the first presser or the final presser that is, I believe, before the weigh-in. So yeah, I could argue that Joshua was a little bit unsure. I don't know I kind of thought that was a bit of a red flag too. It's like, okay. It really seemed to me that he didn't really want this fight.
I got to be honest, Dan. I'm kind of split on it because on the one hand, right, I completely get, like, if I was training him or involved in his career, right, I'd be like, no, take selfies afterwards, cool. Touch gloves with the man afterwards, cool. I'm just kind of this way. I didn't like it when Dillian was touching gloves with fucking Povetkin and then he got his ass knocked out.
Well, Povetkin, that's what happens in all Povetkin fights.
I know. If I was working Dillian's corner, I would be telling him, no, sell that. Don't fucking touch gloves with him. You can touch gloves with him after we're done, right?
Right.
That's just the way I look at the whole thing. You follow?
Fair enough.
AJ, I feel like on the one hand, I have an appreciation for the fact that AJ comes across as a person that appreciates what he's experiencing. I need to appreciate this.
Yeah.
While I'm experiencing it, because you know what I mean. I'm a very lucky person, and you know what I mean. He's appreciating that shit. I can get it. On the other hand, like Teddy Atlas might say, you need to be a Viking. You know what I mean? You need to be a fucking an Inuit warrior. You know what I mean? Whatever the fuck, Aztec, whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? Warrior stereotype you want to put forth. That's
Well,
you can't have that. You got to be a Spartan. You got to be a Spartan. You know.
I agree. Another thing too.
But I can't help but like I said, I'm torn. At the same time, I can't help but be like, you know what? It's good to see someone that appreciates the awesomeness of what they're going through while they're going through it.
Yeah.
As opposed to hindsight.
That's a good point. Totally agree with that. But
I guess I'm saying I appreciate him as a person. I'm not trying to be funny. I appreciate him as a person, but I feel like some of those things that make him appreciable as a person hold him back as a boxer. Does that make sense? Or as a fighter?
Yeah, it does.
I want to use the word fighter. Yeah, go ahead.
It kind of makes him it kind of compromises his killer instinct going into fights. I see what you're saying on that. But
it creates a bit of domestication, I think, maybe.
Right. Yeah. Another thing I want to add too, because we all come out and say that Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury's got a lot of yes men in their corner. We got to talk about last night's corner with Joshua. Joshua had too many people.
Come on. What top level fighter? Let's just be real. What top level elite fighter doesn't have a bunch of yes men?
That's a good point.
My hero that I got in the Avatar. Legions of yes men.
Oh yeah, and I mean that's the point. The thing is, the point I'm trying to make is that people are trying to single out Wilder Fury for having yes men in their corner. Do you think AJ? And the thing is, do you think AJ doesn't have yes men in his corner? Or Canelo? Here's another thing that Hold on. Let me make my point real quickly. What I heard last night in that corner when he was trying to fight Usyk, when he was getting tagged. They were telling, you're doing brilliant, Joshua. Keep going. You're doing brilliant. You're brilliant. I'm like, what do you mean brilliant? Whoa. He was getting tagged.
I see. I'm good now. I do need to go back for like those are the things I like to watch back.
Yeah, that's Robert McCracken talking about.
I had my audio off. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But that was Robert McCracken going out there talking about, he's brilliant. You're brilliant, Josh. Keep it going. You're brilliant. You're brilliant.
Oh man, no.
I'm like, oh come on, dude. Seriously, why aren't you telling your fighter that he's losing the fight?
How about you tell him you're getting killed with that right hook? You know, and we'll make it and give him some advice on how to make an adjustment to it.
Right.
I mean, sorry. Go ahead, guys.
Man, that should be a boxing meme. Anything boxing Anthony Joshua does, Robert McCracken comes out of nowhere and says, "Brilliant, Joshua." That would be an excellent meme.
Like get like a gif of him getting knocked down by Vlad, and then like immediately afterwards you see him like brilliant, Joshua. Like fucking Mike Tyson's punch out between rounds with the little text and everything.
Well, yeah, man. But let's see what Joshua does. I mean, we have to wait and see. I hope that eye injury is not. I mean, I heard there's like unconfirmed reports that this his eye socket is definitely broken. So
Oh
I hope that.
shit.
Yeah, I hope that's not true. But if it is confirmed, then we're not going to see Anthony Joshua for
Oh,
a
okay.
very long time.
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna say something, and it's gonna sound horrible. What I'm
Uh-huh.
about to say is gonna sound horrible. I have no ill will towards Anthony Joshua. Dan, have I always not been? I've never been down on him, have I?
No, no, you've always been fair to him. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm not. I got nothing against AJ. I've always thought he's up until recently. I've thought he had done the most,
right.
in his era. So I got a lot. I've put him over big time. I gotta say, if his eyes hurt, that makes undisputed a lot easier to get to.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know
I
what?
mean,
Somebody.
hey, I can't miss you if you don't go away, AJ. I come, go get healed up, come back, and let us get undisputed while you're out of the way.
Yeah, I just hope it
I wouldn't be.
doesn't.
So I guess what I'm saying is, if it turns out that what you're saying is true about the eye, I like AJ. Don't get me wrong. I heal up. I hope he comes back 100%. But hey, man, if that means we get undisputed, because there's no that would take out the rematch. You follow? That would.
Yeah,
You see where I'm going with this? That takes
I
one.
get that.
That takes one of four guys out of the equation. Then we're down to just Wilder fucking Fury. Right, we're down to 3. Then we get Wilder Fury, and then
right.
boom, we're down to 2. We don't have to worry about AJ until he heals up and comes back. We can resolve it in the meantime. Boom, have it undisputed. Then AJ can come back and fight him in a huge fight that I'm sure will do.
I
big.
get that. I get that if we live in an ideal world, but we don't live in an ideal world.
all right. Now I didn't know. How bad? Did I say that was going to happen? I didn't say that was going to happen.
No. I agree. But the reason I said that, because after Joshua got knocked out by Ruiz, his dad was gonna beat up Eddie Hearn. So if they let
I forgot about that.
yeah, if he was allowed to fight, and there's reports, I don't know, this is not verified because Joshua and his team have kept a lid on the whole thing. But if they let him fight and say he suffered a concussion, that means he was compromised, and they let him go in the ring. Then I don't think I think the only way they let him not get in the ring if his eye is really really in bad territory, like I don't know where the
Joe
doctor
Brook,
won't clear
baby.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Well,
I don't.
he's
Yeah, if that's the case, man, I don't think if it's really that bad, then yeah, they can't clear him. I mean, if they say it shouldn't hinder your career, then so be it. I hope it's not that serious, man. I really hope. But there is unconfirmed reports. I say that unconfirmed because it's a rumor right now. But there's unconfirmed reports that eye its socket is broken. It's pretty bad. So,
it could
man,
be. It could be. After the fight, he was sitting on the stool for a really long
long time.
time. The thing, though, I'm wondering if it is broken. He's not going to look. The rematch, we all know Eddie Hearn's going to milk it to the summer. So the earliest that fight will happen is maybe April or May next
Right.
year. By that time, do you think that's enough time, though, or not?
Uh, I'm not sure if it's enough time, but look at if you suffer injuries like that, you're definitely not the same fighter. You're
Yeah,
definitely going
yeah,
to
yeah,
be
of
more
course, yeah.
compromised. So even if you give him more time to prepare in that situation, I don't see how this is going to help Joshua to an extent. Yeah, it may help him from a physical standpoint, but from a psychological standpoint, yeah, after suffering injury like that, after being beat twice in I'll say humiliating fashion, in 2 humiliating fashions, I should say, it just takes a lot out of you as a prize fighter. So,
I agree.
um,
I agree.
yeah, I don't know. Me personally, I don't care if you stretch this fight out to next year. I think Usyk still has his number.
Yeah,
I'll just be
yeah.
honest.
So the reason I say that because Cal Brook got a broken eye socket. I was at that fight against Golovkin. That was in September. So this fight just takes place in September. Him and Spence don't fight until May 2017. I think something similar may happen, but I don't know the injury, the repercussions of the injury, if it's that serious or if it's not. Like we don't know at the moment.
Right. Yeah, we don't know at the moment, but it did look pretty bad because, like you said, though, he
Yeah,
was
yeah.
sitting on that stool for a very long time. He was wincing in pain. I know some people say, "Oh, that's just fatigue." I mean, to an extent, yeah, but I think he was in pain because he was taking a lot of shots. He was hurt, and I think it may have more so to do with that eye. It could be. It
He
could
was
have
about
been
to
that.
get knocked out. He was about
Yeah,
to get knocked out.
he was
He
going to
couldn't
get
see
knocked.
from that eye.
Yeah, he couldn't see. So I hope it's okay. Let's just hope he recovers soon. But I pray that that's just it's just a rumor at this point. So we'll see, man.
So,
'Cause-
so,
'cause- what's up? Go ahead, learner.
so besides Wilder Fury, which is in almost 2 weeks,
Uh huh.
is there another fight that you guys are looking forward to that maybe not as high profile, but
I mean, Steve Fulton versus Brandon Figueroa. I'm looking for that forward to that fight. I know they had to push that back due to Figueroa's
November.
COVID-19 diagnosis. I know that's very disappointing, but it's still on though, so I'm looking forward to that one.
Crawford
Uh,
Porter.
Shakur
Porter,
Stevenson versus
Crawford Porter, and you got Stevenson versus Herring.
Oh God, I am so I'm like doing everything in my power to not let myself get too hyped up for it, just because we've had so many fights fall through, and you know
Right.
what I mean. It swerved and everything. The Porter Crawford thing, I'm like pretending. I'm like, you know what I mean. I'm just trying to pretend it doesn't. That I've never heard anything about it, and then poof, one day I'll be like, "Oh, Porter Crawford, awesome! Let's get
yeah,
it."
yeah,
Well, let's just hope, everything's all right. Nobody gets, compromised with
Injured, yeah.
COVID,
Yep.
man.
injured.
Okay, all things being equal, real quick, because my ride's about here. I gotta go soon, Dan.
All right, buddy.
Since it got brought up, I want to hear everyone's predictions. If everything's copacetic, everybody comes in healthy, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's gotten old overnight because they're both in their 30s, right? They're the same guys we saw last time. What
Yeah.
happens, Crawford Porter? Everybody, give me your just. You don't have to predict, but just what are the
How the
what
fight
are
plays
the
out. I think
or the keys or a prediction or some combination the same.
Well, keys to victory. Sean Porter definitely's got to do pressure. That's the only way you're gonna beat a guy like Terrence Crawford. You have to pressure him. You cannot outbox him. You got to show him some feints. Keep the fight in close and mid range. So that's the only way you're gonna beat it. If you try to fight Terrence Crawford long range, you're not gonna win that fight. That's not gonna happen.
Volume like Gamboa. Remember, Gamboa had some success because he was throwing a lot of punches and, like you said, close range.
Right. So that's the only way you're going to beat Crawford is try to keep that fight at close range. As far as Terrence Crawford is concerned, use the switch hitting style to confuse your opponent, give him angles, and keep moving around, show upper ladder movement, and use the feints against Porter. That's the one thing about Sean Porter that he's not good at is long range. Keep the fight at distance, and that's about it. Keep the fight at distance, give him some angles to confuse the guy, and make him overcommit, because that's the thing about Sean Porter. He overcommits a little bit too much, where he's swinging shots all over the place, and he's loading up for from a somewhat of a far distance, and he just like gets wild. So if he could do that and confuse this guy and keep it at a keep it at a long distance, he's gonna win the fight.
Yeah, I got Bud by stoppage.
Yeah, he could stop it. He could stop.
I
Yeah,
got Bud by stoppage because Sean Porter only chance of winning is trying to rush his way in, and I see Bud like even stepping back and catching him with the right hook once he eventually switched to southpaw and get his rhythm and put his timing down of how fast he jumps in. I just got him countering him with that right hook and finishing him up. So I got Bud by stoppage. I think the Herring
Stevenson.
Yeah, Stevenson fight is gonna be better than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It could be. It's potentially could be. So
Because they already been going back and forth. He been going back and forth with his trainer, and like it's turning into a grudge match. So it ain't gonna be too much of the touching of the gloves in between rounds. Them guys, they're gonna go at it. They're gonna be friends after.
I don't know about Shakur Stevenson though.
No.
Yeah.
Have you seen
Hey,
Shakur
real
Stevenson
quick.
last
All
couple
right.
of
So
fights?
Hamed, let's get Hamed and then the other
Learner.
brother.
Yeah. Let's get Hamed, and then Learner can give his
All
side.
right.
So I
Go
gotta
ahead,
get
Hamed.
out of here.
All right, Doc.
All right, I think Crawford should win. I don't know about stoppage. I don't think Crawford hits harder, arguably, than Spence and Thurman as a welterweight. But Porter took flush shots from Kell Brook, who I think could punch, and Thurman and Spence landed flush. I know Spence dropped him. The only other time I've seen him really hurt was Broner, but I don't know was that a catch weight. So I'm not sure about stoppage. Crawford's capable. You look what he did to guys like Jeff Horn, guys like even Victor Postel. I know he never knocked him out, but he dropped him multiple
Dropped him a bunch.
times.
Yep.
Was
Yeah.
it twice? And he won. One clearly, I thought. But I would say the safe bet is Crawford should win on points. But it would not surprise me if Crawford stops him late or just catches him. But
Yeah.
I think Porter's live in that fight. That's by no means an easy fight, but Crawford clearly the favorite.
Got it. What do you think, Lerner?
I think it's going to be a very competitive fight until the mid to late rounds. In the championship rounds, I think 11th round, Crawford's going to stop him because he go right then. Because Porter, he's pretty good at tying up, but I don't think he's never met a guy like Crawford. I don't think Crawford's going to really let him tie him up like that. Because there was one time where Keith Thurman had him in trouble, but Keith Thurman started swinging for the fences. I don't think Crawford's going to do that.
Yeah.
And
He's sharper. He's sharper than Thurman. I agree.
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
gonna get him, and he's gonna start really hurting him in the 10th and 11th rounds, and that's when they're gonna stop it.
Dan, I want to real quick before I go. I all you guys make great points, and I actually agree with pretty much all of you. Dan, I would make one addendum to what you said.
Uh-huh.
I think Porter wants to this is like an old idiom I remember Angelo Dundee talking about. Porter's the kind of guy you want to be either out too far or
Yeah.
in too close, because
agree.
he will smother his work and become ineffective if you get too close on him. Like
That's true.
Kell Brook tying him up or just getting bodying him up. He
Right.
becomes ineffective.
That's
All right,
true.
guys. So I appreciate you, Dan,
All right.
YG, Lerner, Hamed, Battle
All right,
Rifle.
man.
Good to hear you.
Yes,
Good
sir.
to
Yes,
hear
sir.
your
Likewise,
thoughts.
likewise. Peace to
All right, bro.
everybody. All right.
All right,
Enjoy.
peace, man. Take care.
All right.
Hey
Peace.
guys, yeah. So I think a couple more things before I wrap this up. So this Frank Warren came out. I'm not sure if anybody's seen this story. Frank Warren just came out and said that, yeah, one thing, if Tyson Fury would have fought Anthony Joshua, he would have destroyed him, and he doubts that fight will ever happen anytime in the future. So, what's your thoughts on that?
Can I
Anybody?
just say, I don't want to hear
Yeah.
about Tyson Fury, Wilder, all these guys. Usyk got in the ring and he did what he did. Like, look, I don't think the Fury Joshua fight was gonna happen, but Fury did turn down the fight to fight Wilder. Whether or not it's the right or wrong thing, he could have been the guy to beat, I believe, Joshua back in 2019, and then I
Yeah.
believe before Usyk did as well. But he went another route. He did what he wanted to do. So I
Hey,
do think Fury would have beaten him, but at the same time, like I heard this someone else saying, Wilder fans, Fury fans, and these other guys should like need pipe down. Usyk was the guy who
Yeah.
beat Joshua. Do I think Joshua would be 50-50 with Wilder or would lose to Fury? Yeah, but at the same time, we don't know what would have happened in those fights.
Right. Yeah. So, what do you think about Frank Warren saying that he doubts the fight's going to happen anytime in the future? Do you agree
he's
with
Now,
that?
right.
I mean, that'd be crazy. I think the fight has to happen because where do he go? If he doesn't fight the winner out of Wilder and
Wilder
Fury,
Fury.
unless he doesn't fight. Say if he Fury wins, he don't fight Fury, and then he take the Wilder fight. Because even though the
That's not
funny
a good
thing is,
idea.
at the,
That's not a
at the press conference, he even said he a reporter was asking him, and he said the
Yeah.
titles don't really mean nothing. He's like, yo, I'll fight the loser of the. He said, say if I don't have the titles, I still fight Wilder. And Wilder, he was saying he'll still fight
So
Wilder.
let's say hypothetically, if Wilder loses or if he wins, let's say Wilder wins, and then he becomes a champion, a lineal champion, along with the Ring Magazine belt. Then Wilder gives him a voluntary title shot. So is that what you're saying? That could
No,
happen.
he was saying this. What AJ was saying. Basically, AJ was saying if Fury wins, right,
Mm-hmm.
and he can't get the Fury fight, he would still fight Wilder with no titles on the line.
Okay.
No, what he said was, I will fight Fury or Wilder with or without the titles. So
Yeah.
what he's trying to say, he still wants those fights. The thing is now, though, I don't know. I think that Fury fight will maybe happen, but it's going to be another Mayweather Pacquiao fight. Like
He's
it
gonna
should have
string out for
happened 1
another
year ago.
year. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
gonna
it
be
should have
another
happened.
year. Yeah, and let's just say this too. Now that Usyk is the champion, I think the WBA is gonna start calling their mandatories, and one of those belts is gonna get stripped. It's
Yo,
gonna
How
be
they
Joyce,
gonna
debate.
call they mandatory? Wilder just fought the mandatories.
Well, that's the
no,
thing. Though, the
no.
WBA is gonna want their mandatory call up. They're gonna call it up. They're gonna call
He
it.
just
Hopefully not.
He's got 3 different belts, so you gotta factor in the WBO and WBA. I think they may have been doing some sort of rotation, but don't get me wrong. Joyce and Usyk were in line for the same title shot.
wait.
But I
Yeah. Wait.
think
Hold on. I mean to cut you off, but wait. You said who's gonna call for their mandatory? You said the
WBA.
But he just fought the WBA mandatory.
No,
No, he did. He
WBO.
dropped him to the
No,
WBO.
before what you call it was the IBF, and before that,
That kid was the last WBA mandatory. That fight was 2
That's
years ago.
2018. 3 years ago.
3 years ago. Yeah, it was 3 years ago.
so
What is what is Joyce? What is Joyce? WBA or WBO?
He's WBO.
Yeah.
All right,
he's
all right.
yeah. So that's what I said. So who are they gonna who would they call for him to fight?
Well,
Dubois
the
to
WBA
Trevor Bryan.
they could do Trevor Bryan, they could do Robert Helenius, they could do
They're gonna have to fight each other. Those guys,
Oh,
and then
oh,
there'll be a mandatory.
Oh,
Yeah.
Robert Helenius he's the guy that's fighting on the undercard of
Okay.
the
It's
Wilder
Kaneki,
Fury
yeah.
3. Yeah, that's true, but that fight not gonna happen anytime soon. But if you look at the WBA rankings, let me look at it real quickly.
No, but we got to factor in this. Dan is right. Look, Fury, Fury and Wilder fight in 2 weeks. Yeah, hopefully they
Right.
get in the ring of fight. But Joshua and Usyk won't fight till April or May next year. By that time, Helenius, Trevor Bryan, and Dubois, one of them will have elevated to a higher position because
Yep.
either one or two of them will fight each other, or one of them will lose. By that time, those guys will be in a better position. And then after that fight, I think if Usyk wins a rematch, he will have to fight the WBA mandatory, or if not, the WBO if they want a fast track, unless they make the undisputed. My only concern is now is if Usyk and Joshua say they don't fight. I don't know what happens then because I just can't see that happening. I think they are going to fight. What does Fury do in the meantime? If Fury beats Wilder, does Fury go and fight Joe Joyce, or does he go and fight Dylan
Well,
White?
if Fury wins, if the winner of that fight, I think the WBC will call them mandatory for them to fight Dillian White.
All
One
right.
of them. I think that's what's going to happen. And as far as the WBA, let's go back to the rankings. So Joshua's no longer the super champion. That's Usyk now. So you have Trevor Bryan. You have Emmanuel Char, who's in recess.
Oh my god.
Okay. A regular champion recess, that is. And you have Daniel Dubois, who's rated number 1. Michael Hunter, number 2. Robert Helenius, number 3. So
He's
I
a gold
think,
champion or something.
yeah. So at this point, it could be between Daniel Dubois, Manuel Char, and Trevor Bryan. One of those three is going to be called the mandatory. One of those three.
for Usyk to fight.
Yeah. And
This
if that happens,
this won't.
go ahead.
Sorry,
go ahead.
this won't be until after the rematch, though. I think the rematch will be first, and then unless the WBA can do something quickly, because WBA have been known to be slow with their mandatories.
Right. Well, given that they're making a lot of changes now, especially with that fallout with the Fox and the Montre fight. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they call it mandatory right away, because now, like you said, though, depending on Joshua's situation with his eye injury, they're going to say, "Well, we're not going to wait on that. You got to defend your belt against one of our mandatories." They're going to tell
There's
us
a rematch clause, though. I don't know what they're gonna do. The only thing is, I don't think this Joshua Usyk fight happens till April.
Well, yeah, Usyk is definitely going to take the rematch. Is that he might just say, "Okay, if you're going to put me in that position, then I'm going to just go ahead and vacate this belt. I don't give a damn what you."
You know what's unfair is that Usyk doesn't get a chance to fight in his hometown because it doesn't make financial sense. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah, I don't like that. Eddie Hearn put it in the contract, didn't it?
Yeah, he did.
Well,
I mean, that's
he put in the
to your point though, Usyk does deserve that right to have a fight in his own backyard. He's been on the road for many years, fighting everybody's backyards and beating them.
AJ, let that dude have his fight in Kiev, and in the capital.
Yeah, the rematch,
the capital of Ukraine. He'll be awesome.
Right, I agree. He should have that. He should have that. And I mean, but again, Eddie Hearn writes these contracts, and they, parties did agree. So it is what it is. The rematch is going to have to take place where Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua says is going to have to take place. But I don't think that Usyk doesn't care. He's like, okay, whatever. You put me in Saudi Arabia, you put me in fucking Afghanistan, you put me in Nigeria, I'll still beat your ass either way.
Damn,
don't matter where you put me.
I think that's why the fight happened. They threatened. They said, if you don't sign the rematch clause, we're gonna go a different route, and that's why.
Yeah, that's what they said.
Not just that. I mean, Usyk could say, "Look, he's a mandatory. I don't have to agree to it. If you want to take it that way, then we'll go to a purse bid. Who bid on it? Let somebody else bid for the fight." So he was in. Yeah, he could. He was in that position because he could do that and say, "Okay, if we don't agree to rematch clause, if you don't want to pay me for it, then you know what? Let's take it to a purse bid and we'll take it to the highest bidder." And then that's when Eddie Hearn was talking about vacating the belt, because they knew there were no position to back Usyk to the corner. They knew it because as a man,
the first fight. Oh, you're talking about the first fight.
Yeah, the first fight. Yeah. Yeah, that's what Usyk said. Look, if you want me to agree to a one-way rematch clause, you got to pay me for it, like you paid other opponents for it. So that's
So
simple.
what? So this fight was it a two-way rematch clause or
There's a
one-way?
one-way. If Joshua wins, he gets it. If Usyk loses, he doesn't get the rematch.
No. But, let me backtrack. I don't get what you say. Why did Usyk agree to take the deal then? If it's a one-way
Well, because he
rematch
got
clause.
paid. He got paid more money to do it. That's why. That's what he was
Oh,
asking
that's
for.
right. All right. Oh,
Yeah,
he was threatening to take it to a place. All right, I
yeah,
get what you say.
yeah. See, yeah, he didn't have to agree to it. He's a mandatory. I don't need to agree to it, but okay. If you want me to agree to it, you pay me.
All right.
And that's what Hearn and Joshua had to do. They say, okay, we got to pay the guy because we can't win the purse bid.
Mm.
we can't win the purse bid. There's no way I'm going to do that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Could you imagine Triller bidding on that fight, man?
man,
Oh
Triller
yeah.
will I botched that fight. There's no
Yeah.
fucking way.
Females fight this. They changed the date for like the 20th time, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's fifth or sixth. It's either the fifth or sixth time they had.
yeah. Triller doesn't know what they're doing. Their whole platform. It was promising at the start, but
Mm-hmm.
it's really gone to shit afterwards. After the Jones and Tyson and Jones
Tyson, yeah.
exhibition fight, it got to shit after that. So I mean,
Tiafimo, he
I
lost
think
a lot of time.
right. I mean, the Jake Paul circus. Okay, I guess you could give them somewhat a benefit of the doubt, but after that, it's been bad, man. Triller. I think Triller's gonna have to get out of the box. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, let me tell you this, to all businesses trying to get into boxing, you cannot buy your way with money. You have to
Yeah.
actually know what you're doing. You can't
Right.
just be throwing around a whole bunch of money. You're gonna waste a lot of time and you're gonna waste a lot of money. You're
I
gonna waste
totally agree because boxing is a niche sport here in the United States, so you can't just be throwing money out there and then people's gonna come in and buy into the product because they're trying to mix boxing into entertainment. Like for example, with WWE, that's how they do it.
mm,
They
Oh
mix
yeah.
pro wrestling into to entertainment, and nowadays WWE don't like to be called a pro wrestling company. They just like to be called a production company, entertainment company. That's what they like to be called. But
waste.
other than that, it works for them. Their structure, their platform works for them because it's all scripted. Boxing ain't supposed to be scripted. It ain't supposed to be about entertainment. I mean, entertainment in one aspect. People like to see blood. They like to see, brutal fights. But
Well,
you put ratchet music into it, man. I mean, not all of it is ratchet, but trap music and all that stuff into it. You incorporate that. And you got Snoop Dogg commentating, cussing up the storm, smoking weed, drinking. I mean, come on, dude. Come
yeah,
on, man.
yeah,
That's a bridge too far right there. I
yeah, yeah.
mean, come on. What's
But
Triller thinking?
but
Nah,
Castellano,
they worst part issue is they tried to make that Lopez fight be on a Monday, and it was gonna go up against Monday Night
Monday
Football.
Night Football. Then
And then
Tuesday.
they pushed it back again because I think I know why they did it because they didn't want to compete with Wilder and Fury 3. That's why they pushed it
yeah,
again. They didn't want to compete with that. They knew they were going to lose a lot of money if they put that fight on the same night as
they
Wilder Fury
they've
3.
been losing money by moving the thing. I heard
That's
they
true.
Yeah, yeah.
lost
They,
like
they
$100.
could they could just cut the deal, take their losses, and just
Yeah,
move
man,
on
just
because
move on from Tiafimo. He's not that big of a star. I think Tiafimo needs a lot more fights before he can really get that known. Because
he's not.
Javante is way more known. Like this dude is like way more. Every time he fights, it's like he's getting more and more views. He's actually progressing in star power. Tiafimo
Right.
has been greatly halted. This was his chance
Yeah,
to
yeah.
really, really gain momentum. He needs to
Right.
fight way more. That's why they didn't step up Javante after 16 after he beat what's his name? That Puerto Rican guy.
Pedraza, Jose
Yeah, they
Pedraza.
kept on building him up. They wanted people to see him more. He even fought like 3 times, I think, 1 year. So
Right.
people could get to see him more. That you need visibility as a fighter. And this dude, man, this has totally killed Tiafimo's visibility.
Yeah.
Oh, he's lost all the momentum. Yeah.
He's definitely lost a lot of momentum in 1 year out of his prime. I mean, I guess it's not much because every fighter takes 1 year to take another fight, but still, though, it's just wasted. It's just a wasted effort, man. I mean, just for nothing, in my view. I think
I
at
got
this
no
point,
interest in this fight. Yeah,
me
it's
neither.
wasted. They've wasted too much time. He should have just stayed with Top Rank, or if
Yeah,
not, he should
yeah,
have. They moved the date initially because of Mayweather and Logan Paul, but now look what's happened. Like, I
yeah,
think Lomachenko may be favorite in the rematch if it's our lightweight because
yeah.
he's been more active. He looked better against Nakatani. He's had two
Oh,
training camps.
Well, you know what? Yeah, I hate to
he's
say this.
already he's already talking about moving up after this
Yeah, I
fight.
was going to
Anyway,
get to that.
The
Yeah, I was going to
Lomachenko
get to.
fight, that's dead in the water.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
not happening, but if it happens, yeah.
it's not going to happen. No, because he made it clear though. After this fight, he's going up to 140. So we can forget
That's
about.
good then. That's a
Yeah.
good move then.
That's
But
good.
he's lost the momentum. I don't favor him against Josh
Josh
Taylor if he fights
Josh Taylor,
if
yeah.
he fights Josh Taylor. Like if he tried going in quickly to super lightweight after the Lomachenko fight and or maybe go one fight what was it, tune up
Hmm.
against say someone like I don't know Pedraza Junior welterweight or that guy who was it Zepeda, but he's wasted like almost a year on Cambosis. And the bad thing is they moved it from first Tuesday to Monday, and then they changed the pay per view price because I think they didn't want to go up against the major was it MLS, not MLS, MLB on Tuesday, and then
Yeah.
now they don't want to go against Monday Night Football. I don't know if this fight's gonna sell on pay per view. Maybe at
Not
$20, but not on a Monday night
it's
or not
not
on the other day.
because
Nah, it's a
Teofimo's
terrible
not
idea. I mean,
Te-
first of all, everybody's working on that day. I mean, it's a bad time to put a fight on pay per view, man. Come on.
Mhm.
I mean, they're gonna take a loss either way, so they got to try something, I guess. you know. Yeah.
Actually, the original
Go.
card was actually pretty good. They had some good. They had an undisputed female super middleweight fight on there. The
Yeah,
actual first card was actually pretty good, but when Teofimo got COVID, it really just threw everything out of the
that was
loop.
April. Yeah, yeah, April in there, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and ever since then, the day's been changing and changing. And
Yeah.
I think I think they should this is my honest opinion about Teofimo. He just got greedy. He just got greedy and big headed. It's
Right.
just
Oh
a
yeah,
big.
yeah. He got greedy and Triller got greedy. I think they thought this is
Really
some sort
though?
of superstar.
You really say he got greedy and big
No,
headed?
it's a mandatory fight. It's a mandatory fight. He's trying to get paid way more for a guy that's super unknown in the United States. I think that
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
So
yeah. He's
so
right.
so
He's right.
but that's not you see this that's why it's like I don't know if you like basically my whole issue with that is right that everybody else is getting like now when Lomachenko had the titles and
Mhm.
he was like it's the same thing like you can't like basically that's why I knew that situation was gonna happen. This is my first time really talking with you, but
Mhm.
I told people that was gonna happen going into the Lomachenko fight because I already see Bob was starting that he's not a big star, he doesn't deserve to get paid, and
But he
then
got
it's
paid.
and then it's like, yeah, but he's not getting now. He's not getting paid as a champion. If you beat, look, if Lomachenko, how everybody ranked him the number one guy, right?
Yeah.
And he went in there convincingly beat him.
Mhm.
Now, and before that, he's a knockout. Like even though he didn't knock out Lomachenko, but if you put him in there with a regular Joe or not a superstar, there's a high chance he's going to knock him
Yeah,
out.
but Top
So you
Rank
can't
just gave
tell me.
wait till
My
Top
thing
Rank
is
gave him a
you
new
can't
deal
tell
though.
me
Top
that
Rank are paying him.
huh?
Yeah.
Top Rank ran back to Top Rank. You're missing the point. They were willing to take a loss on the fight because it was a massive offense against
No,
Cambosos. They took some
I'm talking about
losses on Lomachenko.
you missing my point with
Yeah,
top
but I'm
rank.
saying that he just
Top
why
rank.
did he sign a new deal? He just signed a new deal with Top Rank. If Top Rank are not paying him, they Top Rank were trying to do the best for him and their own company in the long run. He looked at it in the short term. He said, I wanna leave Top Rank and I wanna go away and sign with someone else because I want a lot of money up front for just this one fight. But Top Rank said, get this fight out the way. You may take a
Yeah.
loss because it's the COVID pandemic and they have
And
to
you're
drop a
fighting a
lot of.
mandatory challenge, and you're
Yeah,
fighting a guy who's unknown. So we can't pay you that much money? This fight is not worth that amount. It's not worth that
it's
cost that
not
you're
a
asking.
pay per view fight. It's
It's
not a pay per
not.
view fight.
Yeah, he probably made a mistake. I mean, Triller definitely is paying him, but they're
Yeah,
paying
they're stupid.
they're paying a price for it at the end. So I hate to say it, but Bob Aaron was right.
Yeah, he
he
was. He
was
was.
he was
Bob
right
said.
about this.
Bob said, get the Cambosos fight out the way on Top Rank on ESPN Plus or ESPN, and we'll give you the Lomachenko rematch. We'll offer you, and we would offer you pay per view money for that. Now, whether or not he would have taken it or not, that's up to him. And or they were offering him, I think, a fight with Josh Taylor, maybe in the UK, and that would have brought in some sort of pay per view revenue. He decided to get greedy. Now, that's his own prerogative and own decision, but he's now he's paying for it in a way, but I don't blame him too much. He's a kid. I think Triller deserved the blame. They completely what's the word?
Handle.
They overpaid. They
Mismanaged. Yeah,
mismanaged. Yeah, mismanaged.
right. Hey
And
guys, before I shut this down, I gotta ask you guys one final question. I'm going back to Usyk and Joshua. I probably asked Lerner this question earlier, but I'm gonna go down the line and I'm gonna wrap it up. So I'm gonna start with Hamed. Do you think Joshua should take the rematch, and can he win it if he does?
I don't think he'll win it, but he has to. He has to. If he's gonna try and outbox him, I don't think that's a good plan. But you gotta come in then much lighter then, and then maybe try and steal the victory. Like we make it close. I don't think that will happen. I think he's got no option but to take the rematch. The only other thing I think he could do is maybe fight someone like Dilla White, the left Fury, and if Fury beats Wilder, left Fury and Usyk fight. If Fury wins, and fight the winner. But I don't know. I think he's got no option. The only thing I have to get around this, the only thing I wanted to say, a lot of people, including myself and others, are talking about how Joshua lost his fight. What about Usyk after what he did? Is he up there now with Holyfield as a cruiserweight and
Yeah,
heavyweight?
I mean, as a
You,
great, I mean, at this point, I'll say this. I'll concede to the point. As an all-time great, I'll say, yeah, I can see the argument now. All-time great,
yeah,
absolutely. But as far as him being greater than Holyfield, no, I know it's a different.
not as a heavyweight, really.
Yeah, you're not
Not at the
exactly, but
moment.
I know there will be a debate on that. But as far as being up there with him as an ATG, yeah, you can't take that away from Usyk. He's earned that right.
Yeah,
I mean,
he
look
has
at
to have
this.
more fights at heavyweight, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, he has to have more fights anyway. I get that, but you also have to take into account that he's had a long amateur career. He's had over 400 fights there. I mean, including the fights with the WSB, which is semi-pro. He's been in there with all the, prime fighters that we've seen today at that level.
Yeah,
Like the
cruiserweight.
Arthur Berterbievs, like the Sean Porters, like the Joe Joyces. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on and on and on. He's been there with all of
Yeah,
them, and he's beaten most of these guys in the pros too. With the cruiserweight WSBB, uh, or
he cleaned
WSBB.
out the he
Yeah,
cleaned out the division, and he's one belt away from
yeah,
becoming the only male fighter to become undisputed in only two divisions. But doing something I think only Evander Holyfield has done, to go from cruiserweight to heavyweight to become was undisputed in both those weight classes.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah. Holyfield's the only fighter to do that at this point. But
that's rare. Yeah,
If Usyk could do it, then yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, you got to give the man his respect. I mean, at the end of the day, I think I guess we're kind of guilty of this. Most of us are all focused on what Joshua did wrong. I mean,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, but we got to give Usyk more credit
Credit.
for what he made, how he made Joshua look. I think that's what we're all missing here.
Yeah, yeah.
It's easy
That's
to
true.
say, "Oh, Joshua should have did this and did that," but it's like, well, yeah, go. Just, yeah, it's easy to
He
say that
wasn't
he should
allowed
have.
to. He
He
wasn't
wasn't
allowed
allowed
to.
to. Exactly, he wasn't allowed to do what we suggest he should have done. Usyk wouldn't allow it.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. My only concern with the thing with Joshua's game plan is if you come
Yeah,
in that heavy, then you gotta try and go for the knockout. Why are you trying to outbox the superior boxer? But at the same time, I just don't think Usyk started fast in this fight. Usyk wanted him more, and Usyk had the better ring IQ, footwork, and everything. And he was the one made the use of all his attributes, and I think Joshua kind of fell into his game plan, and
right.
he was made to pay, and he lost the fight fair and square. Regarding the as cruiserweights, I think this is debatable, but as heavyweights, I think he needs to have a couple more fights. If he goes on to beat Joshua in the rematch, then maybe Dilla White to say I don't know Wilder. Then if he beats Fury, definitely, then I think it's debatable who's the better as a heavyweight. And I know Holyfield went on too long, but Holyfield has wins over Riddick Bowe, Mike Tyson.
George
Was it
Foreman,
Michael Moore or
Larry
Buster
Holmes,
Douglas?
Michael
Just George
Moore.
Foreman. At the moment, the heavyweight I think is a bit early, but in three fights he's done something which I think is very impressive. I think it took Holyfield 6 or 7
Six
fights at
fights.
heavyweight.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
took him 6 fights to do it. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, fair point.
yeah.
But yeah, it's still a debate. We'll see. But I'm gonna go down the line here. So, Lerner, what's your take on it?
I think that looks like it's gonna be a rematch, and I think I'm gonna favor Usyk this time, but it's gonna be a little bit. I think Anthony Joshua, he's gonna try to make it a little bit more closer. He's gonna try to be a lot more aggressive, but I think Usyk is gonna be outsmart him with in and out movement, and just just get him clean. He's gonna find spots to hit him clean because now he knows he can hurt Joshua. He's did it like 3 times, and it was
Yeah.
bad. The guy stumbling. He had him stumbling like Ruiz almost had him stumbling.
Right.
Like I'm like, and like he knows he can take on Joshua. He knows he can pick him apart. So I think his confidence is high, and I think he's going to improve. And I think he's going to get smarter because his ring IQ. That's what separates him from Joshua above all else. The hand speed is good, the footwork is good, but the IQ, he's just a smarter fighter. So I think he's gonna I think he's gonna just take him apart. He's. I think he's gonna make in ring adjustments, even if Joshua poses to be a threat. He's gonna make
Right.
ring adjustments.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. And YG, what do you think? Should Joshua take the rematch? Do you think? How do you see it? Do you think he's going to win it?
Yeah, being that no injuries or nothing, I think he'd take the rematch, and there's a big chance of him coming back and win because, like, obviously, I think he's gonna go back and look at the tape and
Yeah.
realize, like, listen, for these, I use my jab, step into the jab, and go to the body. Like, basically, he need to spin out of the 3 out of the first 4 rounds. It should be nothing but body punches and a jab to hold him there until
Yeah.
you get him against the rope. So maybe like that's really the formula I feel for Jack, because he showed a little bit of that in the 8th round when he was doing the right uppercut to the body and
Yeah.
moves like that. So I do think he realized his mistakes, and I think he could come back and correct them, especially if he go to the body early. I think he'll definitely slow him down and then probably get the stoppage.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Hey, shout out to Fight Doctor. He said again, Joshua should retire. I guess we all disagree with that.
Well, he also
Yeah,
see, he was saying Usyk had no chance in that
I
fight.
know. Hey, Fight Doctor, you got to eat some crow on this one, bro. You did say Usyk had no chance. I remember we spoke about this, and you said Usyk has no chance because he's a cruiserweight. Joshua's a heavyweight, and I told you do not underestimate that guy because he's been in it. If with been in there with heavyweights for many years. Guys like
I
Joe
didn't
Joyce, guys like Klitschko, who he embarrassed in sparring. I know sparring is sparring,
exactly.
but he embarrassed him. Okay,
I
now you
didn't
see
he
what
say?
happened.
Didn't he say? Sorry, didn't he say that in the will Usyk make it to the 12th round? I thought Joshua wasn't gonna make it in the
Well,
12th
I thought you
for
said he
the
wouldn't make it
final
past
belt.
5 rounds.
He said that as well. Yeah, he said a lot of
Yeah,
things.
but to be
I
fair, I think
thought.
Fight Doctor did eat crow on EJ's live. He did say, "Yeah, I was wrong," so I'll give him some respect there. But I'll give him some credit there, I should say. But yeah, man. I mean, I don't think Joshua should retire, man. I think
Yeah, I think that's you're getting caught up in the moment. I don't
yeah,
think that he should do that, but I think they should maybe wait to see what happens between Fury and Wilder before
yeah.
they go make a decision. If he's got a serious injury, then. But does anyone favor Wilder in that fight in 2 weeks? Or do you think
Oh
it
yeah,
all
yeah. Let me
depends?
touch up on that. At this point, it's like a 50-50 fight, man. I gotta say it now. Because the only way you're going to beat Tyson Fury if you can catch him not being disciplined, not being motivated. This is kind of
Yeah,
like a Roberto Duran situation when he fought guys like Kirkland Lang and
Sugar Ray Leonard.
Sugar Ray Leonard the second fight, yeah, or James Toney when he fought guys like Dave Tapiri and
Yeah,
Montel Griffith the first fight. I mean, these are fights you're not supposed to lose. You're supposed to win it, but you came in unmotivated, didn't properly train, ate yourself, pretty much gained a lot of weight for unnecessary reason, and you didn't care. I think this is what I see from Tyson Fury. He doesn't care. He doesn't look like he's in shape. It doesn't look like he's fully ready for this rematch from his body language, his lingo. Wilder, yes, he has these technical, deficiencies, this, that, and the third. He seems like he's improving. We have to wait and see if that translates into the fight. He understands his mistake. He's more motivated. He's hungry, and I think that was what was missing from him in the first two fights was that little bit of that motivation. You know what I mean? The discipline. So now he understands that now. So I don't think this. I mean, look, it's a great possibility this fight's not going to end. Is going to end on points. But if this thing goes on points and it's very close, I think Wilder's going to get the decision. But
oh yeah, yeah.
um, I,
Fury's favorite, but if it's competitive or it's a close fight like the first fight or anyway near, I'd say even if it's a bit closer than Joshua Usyk like last night, I think Waldo will get the benefit. I don't think they're gonna let Fury walk away after what he's tried pulling out outside the ring.
well, he's cost a lot of people money and
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
So, and then nobody's going to. It's not. Nobody's going to forget that. So, he's yeah. He. Like I said, his interview with Chris Mannix. I know you and I talked about that, Hamed. This week,
yeah.
yeah, this weekend. It seems to me that he knows he's going to lose the fight. I mean, to be fair, this is Tyson Fury. He's very unpredictable, so he could just be fooling us. But it seems to me that he knows he's going to lose, and that to me is very unprecedented. That to me is a red flag. So,
I
uh,
don't know. I don't know if he thinks he knows he's gonna lose. 'Cause I haven't listened to the whole interview, but he's starting to sound. He's like it's crazy. Maybe this is just his persona or character. I don't know if this is the right guy to underestimate. Wilder showed in the first fight in the 12th round he can end this fight at any time. I
Right.
think Wilder's gonna need more than that to beat a guy like Fury. But if Fury's not at his best, or he's like say mentally not up to his game like the second fight, and he's saying a similar shape to the first fight, that I think this could be a dangerous fight. But on paper, based on the two fights, Fury is a clear favorite. I'd say 60-40, 70-30
Yeah.
maybe could go. But body language, having COVID, what he's been saying, I'm not sure. Like I'm not
A lack
confident
of
in either one
training.
of these guys. Yeah, yeah, lack
Lack
of
of
training.
training. Yeah, lack of training. Let's be honest. He has not been training as much. So that's another thing. That's another red flag. So I mean,
Is he
we'll have to wait.
100%? Yeah, we don't know if
Yeah.
he's 100%.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see in 2 weeks. So yeah. YG, I mean, well, actually, Learner, do you have anything to say about that? Fury and Wilder 3?
Man, I don't know about Fury. I can't make up my mind. This guy is so confusing. He's so confusing. I don't,
Exactly.
dude, I don't know what to say about that guy. He may go because last time I really doubted him, and I woke up in the morning because I didn't want to pay for the pay per view. I woke up in the morning and I read about him KO and Wilder. I'm like, what the fuck? Are you serious? And everybody at work was talking about it. Like, man, DLT got his ass foot. I'm like, I can't believe it. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna wait patiently to see what happens.
Right.
Mm.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. YG, your take on it?
Yeah, we all in agreement. Is when this guy's an enigma, and we don't know what he's gonna do when he get in the ring. But the only thing about it is, with him is that he got multiple ways of beating Wilder to me,
Yeah,
and Wilder really only has like really one way so far that we see. Like he has to get the knockout, unless he like how we everybody says that Fury comes in on some Andy Louise stuff out of shape and Wilder just outboxes him because he's not even prepared to even fight like how he's supposed to or he can fight. So
Right.
I guess we're gonna see sooner than later because that fight is right around the corner.
Yeah. Let's
yeah.
just hope we don't.
Can I say one last thing?
Yeah.
Walter and his trainer. I know they've been working on a game plan, but if I think my comment touched on this, if Walter thinks some background noise. If Walter thinks he could outbox Fury, like I know in the first fight was close, but I don't think it was due to a boxing ability. I think it's more to do with the knockdowns. But
Right.
say if he thinks he could try and outbox Fury like Joshua tried with Usyk, I don't know if that's the right game plan. I think
Yeah.
he needs to
Yeah.
work on the knockout, breaking him
Yeah.
down and knocking him
He's
out.
got to. Yeah. The only way he's going to beat Fury, he's gonna have to make him stationary, beat him to the body, put pressure on him. That's the only way you're going to beat him.
And knock him out, didn't he? Yeah,
Knock
knock
him
him out
out.
eventually.
That's the only way you're going to beat Tyson Fury. If you put pressure on him, invest more into his body, he's going to be stationary. He has no choice but to trade with you. And he'll be weakened at that point.
He can't beat
Because
him in a boxing match, innit?
yeah, you can't beat him
The
up
only
boxing.
way,
I mean,
the only way
he
I
in a way though, because how y'all just described it, there's a way that he can back him up and be winning rounds by
but that's
backing him up.
breaking him down. That's
Yeah,
breaking him
breaking him,
down.
That's breaking him
basically
down. That's exactly what we said. He's breaking him
breaking him
down.
down,
But eventually
he
knock
just
him
don't
out.
get the knockout if he don't go
No,
wild.
I can't see that. Not for 12 rounds. I can't see that. I can't see him doing that for 12 rounds. One brother, if he does that for 5, 6 rounds, then catches him and knocks him out. If the fight goes over to 10, 11, 12 rounds, by that time, I think Fury will be winning that fight. Fury may get robbed, or maybe if it's like a similar to the first fight, then I could see how Fury may not get the decision. But if it's like a 12-round fight like Klitschko Fury was, or some of Fury's other fights with Chisora, then I think Fury wins it. I think Wilder needs to set the knockout up. Like he needs to do what he did with Luis Ortiz, a combination of the first and second fight. But I can't see if he's trying to outbox him and trying to nick a point to win. I can't see that.
Right.
I mean, take it round by round, but I get what you're saying. We're gonna get to see sooner than later. But once again, Dan, thanks for letting me on the show, man. Like always, you already
No
know.
problem, man.
And the
Thanks
rest
for
of you guys,
having you
y'all,
on, man.
y'all
As
enjoy
always.
your Sundays,
All right.
and I guess we'll see. Well, who fight next week? Next week is the
Chris Eubank, I think I don't know. There's not many big fights
But
next
yeah,
week.
There's not
Chris,
many big fights next week. I know. I think Sky Boxer over at Sky Sports have their card coming
Yeah,
up this weekend. So next weekend, I should say. So
Banks needs to
it's not.
fight somebody. He needs to fight somebody soon.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right, fellas.
All right, guys.
all right, man. Take care, man. All right, guys. Thanks for coming on, Hamed and Lerner. Your first time on here. Mr. Doc was on here, and Haplotype and Battle Rifle. So, hey, shout out to you guys, and shout out to the chat, Big Boys, Blood, Fight Doctor, the Star. You know, this last comment at the highlight here. At this rate, AJ Styles would beat AJ Anthony Joshua. I know that's a
That's
joke.
yeah.
AJ Styles, I don't know what he's gonna do. Do a springboard flip off the top rope and beat Anthony Joshua. Okay, in a wrestling match. Okay, maybe. Anyways, shout out to everybody else in the chat that came in. Bruce Goes, a Boz, Abaz, and from the UK, and who else we have here? Jared Smith, Haplotype. I did mention DGO. Uh, yeah,
Battle
that's about
rifle,
it. And
battle
Terrence the
rifle as
Texan
well.
Intangible was here earlier. So other than that, okay. Take care, guys. Thanks for having me on. Peace.
No, it's done.
All right.
Good talking to you. And what was the that was a good fight, I thought as well.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All right, man. Yeah, I gotta wrap it up. I gotta go ahead and get some activities done. All right,
All
take
right,
care, brother. All right,
all right. Yeah, catch you soon.
all right, later.